The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Yo, what up? This is Rocky Asuka Romero of Chaos, and you are listening to Keepin It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be ranking the NJPW roster with the Bret Hart Wrestler ranking system, answering your questions and covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network or to Keeping It Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, ProWrestlingTees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. And if you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and clicking on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. This week's episode is brought to you by NJPW EXT, the only browser extension for NJPWworld.com, with features like dark mode, improved translations, layouts, custom and shared playlists, synchronized viewing parties, and much more. It takes NJPW World to the next level. Visit njpwext.us today for details.
And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, with the corona outbreak and everybody getting quarantined and being into their own houses, we're going to need that watch party, because pretty soon we're not going to be able to watch this shit together.
Right. Young boy, welcome back.
I'm almost at the point where, I don't even think we should be recording the show in the same room right now.
I know there was discussions of recording separately from different rooms inside the dojo.
Because I know Jeremy's going to get it, not me.
Really?
No, actually, my girlfriend works in the health field, so I'm deathly afraid that I'm for sure going to get it.
I've been thinking about that. I was like,
Yeah, we actually, funny enough, this weekend, I watched her fall and break her foot.
What?
So she was asleep, right? And it was Friday. It was after work. She was asleep. She was at her place. I was going to go, pick her up or whatever. And she's kind of a heavy sleeper, and, she doesn't like getting, startled. But I don't ever just walk in because she's got, a little dog and he'll run out. So I knocked on the door, right? And then, I see her bounce up, what? And then, boom.
Dang.
Saw her go down. She started screaming. I was like, oh, I didn't know what to do. It was bad. It was bad. Later on, afterwards, when I reflected on it, I realized how funny it actually was. In the moment, it was not funny, but later on, I was like, the way you felt was kind of funny.
Dang.
But, she, so we took her to urgent care, and, people were coughing and hacking up, and I was like, Chief.
Oh, man.
But, and then, today she called, she's like, because she was going to thug it out. She's like, pain pills? I don't need no stinking pain pills. Today she's like, I need some pain pills. So she called up there, and they're like, as of today, we're only treating coronavirus patients. And they're like, so when were you here? She's like, Saturday. And they're like, oh, well, as long as you don't develop a fever or a cough, you should be good. And I was like, what? I was like, I was there too.
Oh my gosh.
Man. Yo, speaking of which, I'm glad to be back here on the show. I see you got a new setup here.
Well, I mean, not completely. Just switch the mics up, just the stands, how they're sitting, and
The tips of our stands are almost touching. Different.
Yeah, different.
But yeah, man, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back, man.
I listened to the show last week. That bum Chris Samsa out here trying to make me look bad, having stats and having great insights and an awesome voice and the life that I want to have. Just all around better person in general than me. God, I hate him. No, actually, I thought the show was really, really, really good. I was bummed because I had a great time in Nashville, by the way. It was freaking awesome. Glad I took that trip right before the world went to shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I listened to it, and I was like, Dan, I wanted to talk about the Observer Awards. I wanted to talk about, all this stuff that was happening. Like, this sucks.
Yeah, shout out once again, Chris Samsa, for coming on the show.
You did a great job.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring you back in the future. Probably definitely going to need you with this, corona outbreak going down right now. And so,
badly.
And as you guys you should know by now, with the coronavirus outbreak, all of the New Japan shows for this week have been canceled. No word on Sakura Genesis, but I'm pretty sure that's probably going to get canceled too. The Japanese government, told all major sports and entertainment companies not to run shows with spectators at least through March 25th. And man, there's just been craziness with everything being canceled, from NHL to the NBA, March Madness, and then
everything's been changing literally minute to minute, hour to hour. By the time this shows, something else will probably change. Like, I listened to the show last week, and things were definitely changing, and it was definitely a concern. But on Wednesday, everything was fine. And then, I'm watching Dynamite, and suddenly the NBA is canceled in the middle of a game. It's like, what? And then it's like, this is canceled. This is canceled. I think that Rich and James need to do a sidelined edition of of One Nation Radio, talking about everything that's sidelined. The one thing that's not sidelined, WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Breaking news.
Right before we got on air, it was officially announced that WrestleMania 36, which is supposed to happen here in our home city of Tampa, Florida, has been moved to the Performance Center empty arena, just like we saw on SmackDown on Friday night this past week.
In the rich tradition of Funk and Lawler and Mankind and Rock, WrestleMania, empty arena show.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. And WrestleCon canceled. Ring of Honor 18th anniversary, past versus present canceled. NWA, their show with Marty and Aldis canceled. MLW's moving stuff. GCW.
I'm assuming everything's going to cancel.
Right. We're pretty much going right now with, as far as on an independent scale, there's going to be no wrestling for 2 months. Obviously, WWE.
Lionsbreak hasn't announced it, but I'm sure that's not happening.
Well, yeah. Well, that's part of WrestleCon. WrestleCon's canceling.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ring of Honor's not happening either.
Yeah, they're canceled. 18th anniversary and the past versus present show. Oh, Supercard of Honor. That's probably, that's going to be canceled. So, yeah, everything except obviously WWE, they're still running empty arena shows. AEW, they're going to be running empty arena shows. And like I said, we don't have an update on when New Japan is going to start back up yet. Like I said, that's a Sakura Genesis show. It's supposed to happen March 31st. Still on the books as of right now, but...
Well, there's so much, like we said, that's going on. But one of the good things is, one of the terms, if you're doing any sort of research or listening to anybody with any sort of authority, and there's a lot of good resource material out there, the good news in Japan is that they seem to have topped out as far as the growth of the cases. The term that you probably are hearing a lot is flattening the curve, and they seem to have done a really good job. Maybe not initially, but overall, from what the reports are anyways, it seems that they're kind of getting a good handle on containing what's going on over there a little bit better, and not to disparage any other countries, just different situations, different governments, different tactics, but it seems like it's not growing the way it was previously, which is a good thing.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen a lot of comments where, Japanese government, that a lot of people kind of praising them just for how, maybe to the Japanese it didn't seem as quickly, but compared to what's going on around the world, the Japanese government was pretty quickly able to step up on things.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that to the public over there, they weren't necessarily thrilled with how things were handled. But relatively speaking, comparatively as well, it seems to have been handled better than some of the other countries who maybe weren't as prepared or as ready And yeah, we're still seeing the outbreaks. We're still seeing the growth of this on a worldwide scale. And, at this point for me, like, I think tomorrow I'm going to work from home, which, like, my company, my position, they don't let me work from home for, like, security reasons and liability issues, things of that nature. I've always argued I could. I was like, y'all, send me home. Like, I don't need to be here. Like, I'm good. But they're like, nah, that's not for you, baby. But tomorrow they're like, kid, this is your time. I'll give you a push.
Grab the brass ring, pal.
You grab the brass. No, but yeah. So it looks like I'm probably coming home. It sounds like maybe you are too.
Yeah. So I mean, I work in a very, for a small nonprofit organization. We have about 25 people that come in the office, and so we haven't heard the official word yet. But our president was talking to the board of directors today to kind of figure out what the game plan would be, and obviously, President Trump announced today that there shouldn't be gatherings of more than 10 people.
Our illustrious leader.
In a room. And so, yeah, I'm expecting any minute now to probably get an email or Slack or whatever from my company saying, yeah, you can work from home. And luckily my position is one, working in digital marketing. That is something I can do from home. And usually our director, I do have the flexibility to work from home. If I really wanted to, they'd try to encourage us to stay in the office. So, but yeah, it looks like I'll probably be working from home this week.
Well, some things I wanted to touch on. This is ultimately, I know that this is a bigger deal than just what's going on in the wrestling industry, of course, but it is devastating to hear what kind of havoc this is going to have on the independent wrestling scene, especially here in the U.S. and abroad as well. But I can't speak with as much foreknowledge about what's happening to companies abroad. But like, I know here in the States, WrestleMania weekend is imperatively important to the financial success of almost every major independent company, because something close to, like, I've heard figures like 75 to 80% of the funds and the money that they earn for the entire year are generated in that weekend alone. And now not only are they losing that money, but they're taking huge losses, no insurance to cover the losses. Like, promoters are talking about having to sell their houses.
Yeah, the WrestleCon. Yeah, the WrestleCon owner, he put out a video over the weekend. He was like, yeah, if I have to cancel, like if the city doesn't shut it down, if I have to pull the plug, my wife and I are gonna have to sell our house. And that's what happened with WrestleMania canceling today. WrestleCon, they had to cancel, and the hotel is not going to get them out on that, whatever that out clause is, and they're gonna owe the hotel about $114,000.
Yeah, so I mean, tickets for travel that have been purchased, paydays that have been promised, venue costs, any permitting, anything associated with that, plus the loss of the revenue from tickets. I mean, this is in one fell swoop, like one of the most devastating things that could have happened to the independent scene, and that's not even considering the climate of pro wrestling today with like the lack of, draws on the independent scene and stars and, all the different companies that kind of bought up the talent. So it's very, very, very devastating. A couple things is like, some stuff I just want to say, and, we want this show to kind of be a distraction and we're going to get into the good stuff here in just a moment. But, if you guys are affected by this in any way, our hearts and thoughts go out to you. I know I saw today on Twitter, just some followers that we, interact with and are familiar with, saying that they had family members who lost their lives to this already. I think it's pretty repugnant and disgusting, the people who are out there who are claiming that this is some sort of government conspiracy or, not taking it seriously. And, especially wrestlers who are have that platform.
I get it, wanting to maybe crack a joke to maybe lighten things up and to put a smile on people's faces. But there are some people who are,
oh, I love the Corona memes.
Yeah, the Corona memes have been hilarious.
But it's because that's all we can talk about.
Right. But like you mentioned, there's some people who joke about it in a manner where they're completely kind of trying to blow it off and not take it seriously.
Yeah, that's nonsense, man. And I mean, I work in the financial services industry. I can tell you right now, and I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist out there. This benefits nobody.
Right. Yeah.
Say what you will about like population control and, the world markets, the 1%, like this doesn't help. That nobody wins in this scenario. Like this is not, well, I mean, I will say this, the only person that this helps is if you're not buying stock. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but I'm just saying go talk to one because you might want to buy some stock. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like, this is the time. Like, yeah. Also, like, man, I don't know if you saw, like, it's crazy. The federal funds rate was dropped to 0.
No, I didn't see that.
Yo, yeah, you can, like, refinance your house right now for, like, nothing. Like, not nothing, but, like, this is the lowest it's going to be for you. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, if you want to buy property right now, do your homework, do your research, but, like, it's pretty crazy. But, you know, Italy, Iran, I mean, anyone who thinks that this isn't serious is sadly mistaken. Some resources that are out there. I saw a website that, the World Health Organization website, the CDC website, those are really good places. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Just be sure that, you don't want to scare yourself and act panicked, but you want to be informed so that you can protect yourself, your loved ones and everything of that nature. Hopefully this isn't too much of a burden on anybody. We all need to work together. Joe Rogan's podcast, he had a infectious disease expert, someone who's like one of the leading people in the field, who did an entire episode about what to expect, what's happening, and that was very informative. They had one on Wrestling Observer this week.
So I was just pulling up, on Wrestling Observer, they had Dr. Alex Patel, and that's a free episode of Wrestling Observer Radio.
Those are both free. Yeah. Those are both really, really good. Plus, I saw a website that Fox News, and trust me, we're not political here. I don't care if it's CNN or Fox News or whatever, but Fox News had a website dedicated to Q&A about about Corona, and they were answering questions, what causes it, what are the expectations, how is it spread, death tolls, symptoms, everything of that nature. Those are resources you should be, looking into. And, I hope everybody that's out there is taking care of themselves and, helping one another. And I think this is a big wake up call, to everybody to just kind of realize how like fragile things really kind of can be and are. And, I wish everybody the best. I think ultimately, this is going to be contained though, honestly.
Yeah. I think with people starting to see the seriousness of this and, government's kind of stepping up, I think we can flatten that curve and eventually kind of get things back to normal.
The two things I'll say before we move on. Anyone who thinks this isn't serious, because they're saying things of the nature like it's only for old people, that's not necessarily true. Like, yes, that is a fact that the majority of the deaths that have been affected by this are people 70 and above. But at the same time, you're not looking at the cases of people who had serious symptoms, who were younger, who have had lasting effects from the disease. Now, it's a very small percentage of people that are younger that even have serious symptoms. A lot of people are asymptomatic or mild cases. So it's not something you need to be afraid of, but you do want to avoid it because you don't want to spread this to somebody that you love or that you care about and, maybe affect them negatively, but you also don't want to put yourself in that line of risk as well. And the best thing right now with the social distancing is a really smart idea because it is going to help contain this thing. But the other thing too is like, you don't want to be in such a panic and fear that, that it paralyzes you. The reality is, here in the States, we do not have enough tests to adequately tell who has or hasn't gotten it, and that's the case pretty much worldwide. So when they throw out numbers, and this is not just Josh Smith just throwing numbers out to you guys and, speculating. These are pretty much reported facts. Most of the case study that we have is from Wuhan, China, because that's where it broke out, and that's where it's been, taking place the longest. They say that it's about a 3% death rate for the cases that were confirmed versus the cases that ended in fatalities, which that is high. That's higher than the common flu. But that does not take into account how many people actually contracted the disease and were not able to be tested or confirmed. Based on the mathematics science that they have and the estimates of how many people probably did contract it with light to no symptoms, they actually think that the death toll is maybe 1% or lower. So it's actually a lot less deadly than people think it is. But ultimately, you want to do everything in your power to just, like they say, wash your hands, practice, good hygiene, hand sanitizer. But the biggest thing is, this thing is spread by droplets. So keep distance from people, don't go to large gatherings, and just stay vigilant.
Yes.
Stay vigilant.
One Nation Radio has been trying to tell y'all about the hygiene for a long time now.
I listened to the episode they did with Semper Vivi. It was freaking hilarious. That's another one. If you guys, if you haven't listened to the Mike Semper Vivi episode they just dropped earlier, what was that, like 2 days ago? Yesterday?
That was Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, I was listening today. It was so funny.
Yeah, and like you've been seeing, guys, here at Social Suplex, we are not planning on slowing down anytime soon. Our team is going to be putting together content to help during this time, to entertain you guys, to kind of get your mind off of some of the serious stuff that we're dealing with right now. So make sure you subscribe. Check out all the other shows. We're putting out some great stuff. We also have some special shows, some cross collaboration between all the shows on the network, kind of being planned right now.
And unfortunately, our WrestleMania weekend plans have been canceled. The event that we were going to participate with, GCW, We Run This Town, that's canceled. And Suplex Mania, we were actually going to have a Strong Style brunch prior to the Lines Break show.
We're going to have our own little monster morning.
Yeah, we're going to have a monster morning. That's not happening. But I do want to say this. Last year's Suplex Mania will officially this year outdraw this year's WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
And
go ahead.
No, and just one last thing on as far as like kind of related to this stuff. The empty arena wrestling. We had a lot of questions last week about, and the week before about, empty arena. Should New Japan do it? And a lot of people asking if we watched the Stardom No People Gate. And this weekend I was able to watch Stardom's No People Gate, and I also watched SmackDown's Empty Arena episode on Friday. And real quick, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed Stardom's No People Gate over the Empty Arena SmackDown, just for the simple fact those girls went out there and they were wrestling. They weren't pretending there was a crowd. The camera work was focused in the ring.
Did they take a break during the commercials?
Well, there was no commercials, but they wrestled all the way through, and it was like you were watching two people, like almost like amateur wrestling. You're watching two people like in a contest. There's no crowd, but it's all what's going on in the ring.
Well, as I said before, your entire career was that way.
Yes,
so you have a lot of knowledge and experience about this subject, sir.
Yeah, John Juris had wrestled in plenty of empty gyms. So yeah.
But not always.
Not all. We did have.
You guys had some. You guys drew.
We had some lighthouses.
You drew bigger houses
than WrestleMania 36. I have officially wrestled in front of more people than Goldberg versus Roman Reigns would happen.
Oh my God! And I just want to say this. I think that this is a stupid idea. We're not going to bash. We're not going to sit here and spend the whole time bashing WWE, but come on, dude. Like, this is fucking stupid. We got a lot of questions, people asking us about doing empty arena shows. And at the time, I don't think any of us really had the true scope or understanding of what this even was. And I would say, I'm fine with them having done those empty arena shows. But now that we know more, it kind of makes sense why you're not seeing that happen, because how could they screen all the performers going forward to even know who is or isn't, or not even just performers, cameramen, production people, the agents, the referees, like the ringside crew. Like, there's just too much, even that is dangerous. And I'm like, I can't wrap my head around the idea that they're going to do an empty arena WrestleMania.
A 7-hour show with no fans.
That seems ludicrous to me. Like, oh God, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna watch it.
Watching that because the Empty Arena SmackDown was the first time I watched SmackDown since it moved to Fox, and it was just fascinating just watching these people play.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, play to the crowd. There's no crowd. The promos just sound so fake. I feel like I was watching a high school play, and it was a sight to be seen.
Yeah, I was like, man, they should do some shoot style stuff, like some rings style matches, because those matches, they don't play to the crowd. Like, they just go in there and compete. But nah, they're out there playing to the crowd. It's some crazy-ish. But I think this is a terrible business decision on WWE's part. Like, this is going to look bad. Yeah. But let's move on. Let's get into the show. We spent a lot of time. And if you guys have thoughts, concerns, anything concerning the corona outbreak or virus or anything we talked about up to this point in the show, let us know. Hit us up. We did you mention that we have the Discord?
I mentioned it I think I mentioned it last week. But yeah, so we now have a Social Suplex Discord channel. So if you go on Discord and search Social Suplex, you can find our now public channel with tons of threads in there to talk about wrestling, and we also have non-wrestling channels, video game, sports, all that. So come in there. It's another way to
talk about MMA and shoot wrestling with me.
There's a MMA and boxing thread. So it's a new way to kind of connect with us. It's pinned on the top of the Social Suplex Twitter right now, the link to that Discord channel.
Hit us up there, or Twitter, or Reddit, the usual suspects. But let's talk about this stuff, man.
Yeah, so what we're going to do today, we're going to cover some few news items real quick. Then we will answer your questions, and then we're going to do the Bret Hart Wrestler ranking system, and we'll explain that a little bit more when we get to that segment.
New Japan Pro Wrestling alumni Bret Hart.
Yeah. So first off, let's talk about the news real quick. So ticket details last week were revealed for Wrestle Dynasty, currently scheduled for August 22nd in Madison Square Garden. The pre-sale, so if you signed up for that pre-sale, that is April 8th. They'll be sending out a code that you can do to get tickets, and then the general sale is opened up on April 10th. And according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they are scaling this show for a $1.6 million house, and if they sell out, it would be the largest house ever for a show in North America that wasn't WrestleMania. Tickets are priced from $20 to $500. So
we are currently planning to go, especially considering that our WrestleMania budget is completely freed up, provided we get refunds.
Yeah. I know at WrestleCon, they're going to be starting their refunds this week. It's going to be about 7 days. The collective still has not officially canceled yet. And
bro, they're trying to put 4,000 people in the Cuban Club outdoor arena. God.
So yeah, and then with Wrestle Dynasty, there's also a mini site that opened up on NJPW1972.com that has all the links for tickets and all stuff they'll be putting up on there. On NJPW World, they have been uploading a lot of legendary matches with English commentary that Kevin Kelly has done in the studio, and also with the NJPW Together project, they've been uploading a lot of matches with no commentary, so a lot of matches that weren't up on the network before, and then also all the interviews and talk shows that they're doing. Jushin Thunder Liger has been officially announced for the WWE Hall of Fame. This is something we talked about for a couple of weeks now, that it had been rumored that he was going in, but WWE made the official announcement today that Liger is going into the Hall of Fame.
You think he's going to make it for that empty arena PC induction ceremony?
I don't know. They haven't announced what they're doing with the Hall of Fame, so
there's a travel ban. He's not going to be here.
Yeah. Will Ospreay was on the official NJPW English podcast that dropped today, so you can check that out. And speaking of Will Ospreay, him and Wrestle Talk TV presented Support Wrestling Screw Coronavirus show that aired today. It's on YouTube, an empty arena show, with the main event being Will Ospreay versus girlfriend Bea Priestley. I have not watched this show yet, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, all the proceeds for the donations that are given to this free show will be given to support the aid and research for the coronavirus. I also saw that Chris Jericho came out with a new shirt. That's also any proceeds for that are going to be donated to the same, people, basically.
Yeah.
I was also informed today that the Will Ospreay versus Bea Priestley match is extremely historic in the fact that it's the Keepin It Strong Style Wrestler of the Year versus the One Nation Radio Women's Wrestler of the Year. Shout out to James Boyd.
Oh my God.
I just want to say that, I didn't vote for the overall Women's Wrestler of the Year because I didn't watch enough Joshi wrestling to speak with any sort of certainty or authority. So I abstained from voting. Those of y'all that voted B, y'all fucked up.
Yeah, James Boyd was not happy about that. It was hilarious.
I'm glad that they didn't do what they did in years. I remember years ago when the fans voted and they're like, "Nah, we're overriding that. It's this."
Our vote counts more.
Our vote counts more. They didn't do that this year. It's good. But I think that's pretty much it for the news.
Yeah, that's it for the news. Nothing, obviously, with no shows, not a lot going on.
I do want to say, regardless of what anyone's thoughts are about Jushin Thunder Liger going into the WWE Hall of Fame, it does kind of speak to the level of international superstar that this guy is, and the claim that he had just for so many generations, and the fact that he's being recognized in the Hall of Fame of a company that he literally, barring one minor exception, never worked for ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a pretty big deal. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited that he's going in. I mean,
I can't wait to go to the Hall of Fame and check out the plaque and the section that's dedicated to him.
Like 50 years from now.
Yeah.
So all right, moving on to questions. So first question comes from a friend of the show, Darren Kirkby on Twitter, says, has coronavirus taken over the music rights as the biggest heel in NJPW world history?
Absolutely.
Yeah, hands down. There is no bigger heel in New Japan history than the coronavirus.
Well, the one positive thing, we're getting a lot of matches uploaded that we've never had uploaded before. So that's a positive. They're kind of doing that in response, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, this weekend I watched Golden Lovers versus Apollo 55.
Yeah, I've told you about that match in the past.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's freaking awesome,
yeah,
right?
It was incredible.
Yeah, I think that was a Tokyo Sports match of the year that year, or one of them, or I don't know, Nikon Sport, one of the two.
Yeah, and speaking of free stuff being uploaded just across the board in the wrestling world, a lot of companies are uploading shows and matches from their archive for free on their YouTube channel. Especially Ring of Honor, they're uploading the best of kind of stuff from like Generico and Steen and Joe and Punk and Tyler Black and AJ.
I saw they uploaded Joe versus Kobashi.
Yeah.
Bro, the only way you used to be able to watch that is like pirated versions.
Yeah, it's up there on the Ring of Honor YouTube. They have
Is it on Honor Club now?
I don't know if it's on Honor Club, but it's free on their YouTube. I'm sure they probably put it in both places.
That's my all-time favorite Ring of Honor match. Absolutely my favorite Ring of Honor match. We watched that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
on the way to New Orleans WrestleMania. I think was that the first time you'd seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
They uploaded Kota Ibushi versus El Generico from 2008 when Kota Ibushi was still in DDT. He did a 4-shot tour of Ring of Honor. And that match...
They wrestled in Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
See, I've seen the match from DDT from 2000, I want to say 12, maybe 13, which is incredible. Generico's match with... Ibushi and his match with Kenny Omega that year, whichever year it was, are both incredible. But I didn't know they wrestled in Ring of Honor.
Neither did I, because kind of the pre St. Clair era, a lot of Ring of Honor, it was kind of hard to watch if you weren't ordering the DVDs and didn't have like the random channel that came on. So I had no idea that Generico and Ibushi wrestled back then. So that's a great stuff. So yeah, check out all your favorite wrestling companies. They're uploading a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, Evolve's been uploading stuff.
Yeah, Velveteen Dream, Darby Allin, Evolve 146, one of the recent shows I just uploaded.
So that's cool. That's a good thing. I hope that someone comes up with some sort of method of a way that we can help out these independent companies in their times of trouble.
Yeah,
just throwing it out there.
I know one thing that you can do, ProWrestlingTees.com, a lot of your favorite independent wrestlers are on there, and their t-shirt sales is a big way that they receive funding. So if your favorite wrestler is on there, go ahead. If you have the means, go ahead and buy one of their shirts and help them out during this time. A lot of guys are going to be going about 2-3 months without any bookings right now.
Yeah, but maybe don't buy from the ones that are telling everybody the coronavirus is a government conspiracy.
Yeah.
And that it's not actually happening. Maybe not those guys. No, if you like them, you can do it. It's fine. But we had some other questions here. Highest Fly Flow said, what do you guys think of the David Starr situation? I've been watching his stuff of late, and WWE just did him and WXW real dirty for speaking his mind.
Yeah, so if you guys are not familiar with the whole David Starr situation, he was forced out of WXW. WXW is one of the promotions in the UK that...
It's the biggest one in Germany.
Yeah, it's part of that whole WWE kind of European alliance thing that they have going on there, and pretty much WWE, they don't like David Starr. He's spoken out negatively about the company. He stepped on the NXT UK title during the Walter match they had there, and they're just not a fan of him. And so
it's not just that. I think the biggest thing is that he's making strides to try to form a wrestlers union, and he's very actively pursuing that. It's not something he's just talking about. It's something that he's taken a lot of active steps to pursue, which is one of the biggest nightmares, outside of WrestleMania cancellation. It's one of the biggest nightmares that WWE could ever imagine. So I think that also plays a huge role in that as well.
Yeah, and so pretty much they told WXW, you guys can't use David Starr on your shows anymore. And so David Starr had to lose a match where he had to leave WXW, and so now he's out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't say with any authority what I think should or shouldn't have happened here. I mean, I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, like, if WWE has a partnership with these companies and they have the autonomy to kind of tell them who they can and can't book, is that wrong? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I understand that David Starr has done a lot for that company. He's been a regular, an active wrestler, and has really contributed a lot to the success of that brand and other brands that he's also being blackballed from, like Progress and things of that nature. But it's still business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? If they don't want to do business with that guy, just like they don't want to have companies that they're working with have people on like AEW stars and things of that nature, I don't know that I can fault them too much. Maybe I'm speaking kind of naively when I say that, but like, I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
am I wrong in thinking that? I don't know.
No, I mean, I think there's multiple angles to look at this thing, and it's ultimately WXW chose to get in bed with WWE and do business with them, and we've seen over the years what happens when you do business with WWE and what happens to smaller territories that end up, quote unquote, working with WWE and Vince McMahon, and you get in a partnership with them, they're kind of in charge. They're in control. And so
it's like, does it suck? Yes, it sucks. Like, I'm not saying that this is cool or that I'm glad that David Starr isn't working there. Absolutely not. But at the same time, it's like, they took the money. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one of those things. You sign a contract, you take the money, you're kind of beholden to the person with the power on the other side of that contract. And I mean, what can WXW really do? They're doing what they had to do because they're not in control anymore. Neither is Progress, neither is ICW, neither is Evolve. Like, these companies are basically Vince McMahon's bitches now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. And, I don't think that the things that David Starr has said in the media endears him to that company. I don't think him stepping on their UK title endears them to that company. And I don't think him trying to start a wrestlers union does either. Those are three really big strikes against him. So, I don't know. OTT kind of is one of those companies as well, too.
So that's what I've been hearing, but I've always thought that OTT was not a part of that whole thing.
I thought so, too, but like, you keep hearing rumblings that there is some sort of like veiled partnership. So I don't know. I really can't say with certainty on that. I mean, I think it is very notable that there's no New Japan guys there anymore.
Oh, that's true.
I've been thinking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah, I mean, it does suck. Like, I'm not saying it's cool. It sucks, but that's the way it goes,
Yeah. And then the second question he asked says, also, did you guys watch the Murakami versus Tanahashi cage match they recently uploaded? Coming from a Tanahashi fan, this may be the worst Tana match I've watched, and it wasn't even Tana and Murakami's fault.
The funny thing is, I've always wanted to watch this match, and when I was going through the catalog just like 2 days ago, maybe yesterday, I was like, oh, they have the Konami cage match in the empty arena between Murakami and Tanahashi. I was like, I've got to see this. I know that it's not a quote-unquote classically good match. I've always known that, but I've never actually seen the match. I kind of know the backstory on it, but I've seen clips of it, and the clips that I've seen looked kind of good, but I could imagine how that might not actually end up being a good match. It's something I still have to see, though.
Yeah, I have not checked that out yet either.
I'm going to, though.
Right, I'll probably watch it this week. There's probably going to be a lot of time to watch stuff in the next coming days, so yeah, I'll definitely add that to my list.
All I know is every time Murakami and Tanahashi ever wrestled, Murakami fucked Tanahashi up. I mean, bad. So I don't imagine this being any different.
Next question from Reddit user T Flares, who could you see challenging?
Yo. Right now on WWE Raw, they're playing the entire men's Royal Rumble match.
Oh my gosh. Wow. But T Flares asks, who could you see challenging for the U.S. title aside from Juice?
That's a good question. So, I mean, are we just kind of thinking about, like, in general, who on the roster is on that level, who'd be, like, a viable challenger? Or are we kind of thinking with, like, Mox in mind? Because I think those are kind of two different things.
Right. Well, obviously, yeah, with Moxley as the current U.S. champion, they've kind of elevated that title to a little bit higher level on a bigger star. Also, we saw him go against Minoru Suzuki in his last U.S. Defense. And so, obviously, it's kind of elevated more of a higher upper mid-card title. So, Juice has kind of been in that mid-card, sometimes even low mid-card position. So, right now, I don't know if they would build him back up for an eventual, rematch with Mox. But I feel like it might be leaning towards somebody. Obviously, well, Zack Sabre Jr. attacked Moxley, so that was
someone that they were thinking about, for sure. I mean, the U.S. title is kind of a precarious thing because it's had so many different versions of itself. Like when Kenny Omega was holding it, for a brief period, it felt like it was almost at the world title status. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was like just like literally on the same wavelength as like the IC belt as a secondary title. Somewhat similar. Maybe I would say less so when Jay White held it, but not far off. But when Juice and Cody were kind of trading it back and forth, it felt like it was literally an afterthought. And since that time, it really hasn't felt too important. And so it kind of became like a third or even fourth tier title in the company. And now we're getting to a point where major guys are holding it once again. You look at Archer's run, you look at Mox's run. So it kind of depends. I mean, I think I could go any number of ways. Like a name that, and I don't know why, but a name that just jumps out is like Tomohiro Ishii could challenge for it.
Definitely, yeah.
Hiroki Goto could challenge for it. There's a lot. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr., Sonata, Evil.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names that I could see hypothetically challenging for it. I think it really just depends on how they're booking it. Because right now it seems like they're booking it for like upper mid card to like upper, like just guys that are like in the upper level who are just below like the top six.
Yeah. I could see Tanahashi getting a shot. I mean, Tanahashi versus Mox would be a big match.
Yeah. I mean, Tanahashi, Ibushi, why not? What's weird is I couldn't really see, maybe Kenta.
Yeah.
I can't see I think it would be easier to say who I could not see challenging for it, because I think most people on the roster who are heavyweights pretty much could challenge for it. I think like Okada probably not.
I don't think Jay White would.
Okada and Jay White are like the two names that come to mind that I'm like, for some reason, no.
Naito,
I would say no. Those are like probably the top three guys.
Yeah.
Everyone else I could kind of see challenging for it, aside from like lower card guys like, the dads. Well, I don't know. Nagata could challenge for it, maybe.
He could.
In the right circumstance.
Yeah. Kojima could challenge.
Maybe. They seem to be a little bit higher on Nagata than Kojima at times, but probably not definitely not like Hanma.
Right, yeah, or yeah.
I mean, even Toa Hanare could challenge for it.
Yeah,
if they built him up and they told the right story,
it would probably be like on a Kirkin show or one of these smaller shows.
Yeah, I think that's, in my opinion, one of the most wide open titles, depending on who's holding it, because it really hasn't seemed to etch out its own identity as far as the role it plays in the company at this current time. Now, with Mox holding the title, that changes things. When Mox is holding the title, I think there's only a very short list of guys that I could see challenging it for it, and I think it's upper mid cards only.
Right, it's your guys like your Zack Sabre Jr.'s, your Tai Chi's, Suzuki, Sonata, Evil, Ishii, Goto.
Suzuki again.
Yeah,
people like that. Good question, though.
Next question from Reddit user Asai Yojimbo. Did you guys ever watch ECW? Paul, not Vince.
EC-Dub. EC-Dub.
If so, what did you think? Reason I ask is I was recently watching some of my favorite Japanese wrestlers back then in the absence of NJPW, Tajiri, Masato Tanaka, and Jinsei Shinsaki, for example.
I mean, I love ECW. Like, I absolutely adore ECW. One of my all-time favorite promotions. Now, I will say this. When I was younger, I used to pretend like I was like an ECW head, but I didn't actually watch it.
Dude, me too. Like, people be talking about ECW, but like, yeah, man, ECW was so great. I was like, as a kid, like, I wasn't watching ECW. Like, I had no idea what time or channel. Sometimes you just be flipping the channels and like you would get like one of their random like clip shows. But
keep in mind, we were Jeremy, you're 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 31. I'm turning 32 this year, so we're pretty roughly close in age. So it's like when ECW was in its heyday, 97, 98, those probably weren't the best years of its existence, to be honest. Like 95, 96 are probably like the prime years. But that's when they got on pay-per-view. That's when they were all over, the after mags and everything like that. So it was like, oh my God, ECW. So it was like, we knew about it. We thought it was cool, but we didn't actually. I mean, how would we watch it?
Right.
How old was I in 1997? Like, I was 9 years old. Like, I couldn't actually watch it.
Right.
Now, I will say this. I did watch a good portion of the Barely Legal pay-per-view, but it was on. I figured out this trick where, like, if we had TVs that had cable boxes and you try to watch pay-per-view, like you went to the pay-per-view channels, you would just get the weird like pay-per-view like scroll thing and it would ask you to order it. But if you would hook into the cable without a cable box and you just had like your generic TV and you went to those channels, sometimes you could get a scrambled version of the show. So I was like watching it and it was like I wouldn't see it and then like it would unscramble for a second and I'd see them and then it would unscramble and it just kept like going. And I watched like, I very distinctly remember watching Taz versus Sabu. And I didn't know who they were, really. I mean, I saw them in the like magazines and I saw them on Raw. Like, so I kind of knew who they were. But when I got older, like I was like, I have to check this out. So like when YouTube came around, I was like scrounging up anything ECW I could watch. And then, obviously, like by the time the network came around, I'd actually seen a very good portion of it. And I did watch the hardcore TV in late 99 and I think like 2000. It was pretty bad. It wasn't very good.
Cyrus the Virus.
Yeah, Cyrus. There was some good stuff on there, but it was kind of a bad show. And so I always had this opinion that like ECW was like a great company for pay-per-view, but not very good TV until I watched hardcore TV. Like when the network first came around, I put on hardcore. Like one of the first things I did, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to watch hardcore TV. Hardcore TV to me is one of the most innovative and incredible pieces of television programming in the history of professional wrestling. Like, it was just it's such a weird show. Like one week it would be like nothing but like music videos backed by like clipped up wrestling shows that like they had done and in between it was like manic. It would like they'd clip between it, there'd be a promo and then they would like have a music video, and it would just be a bunch of shit like that. And then the next week it'd be like Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko, the entire match, the entire show. And it's like this show makes the format was never the same. It made no sense, but it was so fucking good. So like yeah, I love ECW. And I mean like I haven't seen everything, but I mean, if you guys know, I know a lot about it. Like I've seen, I would say the majority of most of what's on the network, and I've seen the majority of what's out there. I even went back and watched some of like the 93, like 92 ECW, which is kind of shitty, but.
Yeah, I kind of dived into ECW when I was older. Pretty much when they started doing the very first One Night Stand pay-per-view, they had that one, or actually they had the One Night Stand VHS that came out first.
Oh, I had that VHS.
Yeah, I had the VHS, and from there I kind of started, going on YouTube and doing a deep dive and watching some of these big matches.
That's what really, really, really like brought back ECW for me. And then like when One Night Stand came around, I thought I was like one of the ECW originals. I was like, us ECW originals.
Dude, I remember watching that whole feud with my grandfather because my grandfather was the kind of guy where he always backed baby faces. He essentially was like a Fed Defense Squad. And so I remember like being like,
So he's like my dad.
yeah, I remember like cheering ECW, and my grandpa was like, no, it's all about Raw. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Did you watch that pay-per-view?
Yeah, One Night Stand.
The first one was like, when I watched it, I was like, this is the greatest wrestling show I've ever
it
seen in my entire life.
It was awesome.
It's the greatest. I was like, they have to bring this back. And then a year later, they brought it back.
And that one was good too.
And that one was good too. And I was like, oh my God, they're bringing it back.
And then they're launching it on Sci-Fi.
And then the first episode, the fucking, what was he? The mummy?
Yeah.
No, he was a zombie.
Something, yeah.
This Frankenstein-looking motherfucker comes out, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I was like, this is not ECW.
it took a turn for the worse.
But speaking of guys, I mean, Masato Tanaka, fucking incredible. His matches with Mike Awesome in both FMW and in ECW are just so crazy and incredible. Tajiri, I mean, all the matches, him and Little Guido.
Super crazy.
Him and Super Crazy. One of my personal favorites, him and Steve Corino. Like, if you ever want to watch, like, sometimes we'll watch, when me, Rich, James, Jeremy, we all get together, we'll like watch the network, but like we can't, a lot of times we don't want to watch great matches. We just want to watch people get fucked up. And like, I don't know why I've never put it on, but one of these days I need to put on Tajiri versus Steve Corino, because Tajiri fucks Steve Corino up so badly. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, we gotta throw that on.
Also, Jinsei Shinzake, like, you know, I know I'm gonna get flack for this, but I don't really love Hakushi.
I mean, growing up, like, honestly, my major memories of Hakushi are from WWF and like the Bret Hart match, and
I actually like his stuff in WWF way more now than back then I thought he was shitty. Like, I thought he was so, but I mean, I thought a lot of great work. I thought Ted DiBiase sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what was what. Like,
right.
I had no idea. So I didn't know how great those, like, 1, 2, 3 Kid and, like, Bret Hart matches were. But, like, I don't know. Like, I remember, like, earlier this year or last year, we watched the RVD Sabu versus Hayabusa and Jinsei Shinzaki match from, like, I think it's from Heatwave. That match kind of sucks.
Yeah. It was.
I remember thinking it was one of the most innovative and greatest matches I'd ever seen in my life, and watching it back, it is so bad.
Yeah, dude, it was botchamania.
But I mean, you know, there was a lot of really, really, really great Japanese talent that were brought to the States, like, through ECW. Like, a lot of them. Like, it's kind of crazy. So yeah,
ECW was a great platform for international superstars.
God, like, you know, I think on Voices of Wrestling Network, behind their paywall.
Joe Lanza, he's doing the Jovember to Remember series.
Yeah, Jovember to Remember. And he's literally, like, covering everything that's ever made tape.
Yeah, he started
ever in the history of the show.
He started way back from Eastern Championship Wrestling and working his way. I think right now where he's at, I think he's at the first Hardcore TVs. I think I've been listening, but
Actually, no, for real though. But actually, if you are a fan of ECW, what you should also check out is Joe Gerhardt's Tri-State Wrestling, which was the precursor to. They're not directly related, but they basically might as well have been. I mean, almost everyone that worked Tri-State Wrestling were the early, like, stars of ECW in, like, 1992, 1993. And they were, like, Dennis Caluzzo was basically him, and Todd Gordon and Joe Gerhardt. They all had pretty much, like, the same rosters and things of that nature. So, like, when you watch Tri-State Wrestling, they went bankrupt. They only ran from, I think, like, 89 to, like, 91. But the matches that they had, where they had Cactus Jack against Eddie Gilbert. The Eddie Gilbert and Cactus Jack matches are, like, legendary. In fact, that's what got those matches are what got Mick Foley rehired by WCW, because they were they were literally nominated in, like, the Observer poll, like, match of the year stuff, because we had never really seen, like, Falls Count Anywhere matches where people are going into the stands and stuff like that, and, like, barbed wire and fire matches and stuff, and they were doing that. But I bring it up because Takashi Iizuka has a match with Owen Hart in 1991 in Tri-State Wrestling, which is the precursor to ECW. If you've never seen that match, it is fucking great.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that match.
And the rope breaks in the middle of the match, so they can't even use like the middle rope, so they have to work a match without actually using the ropes, which is pretty much a recipe for like disaster. No, the match fucking rules. I forget what Iizuka's name was back then, though. It wasn't because he changed his name. It wasn't always Takashi Iizuka. It was something else Iizuka. But yeah, if you've never seen that match, it's basically ECW. Like, you should go check it out. It's awesome.
Nice. All right, now we have a couple of questions here from Reddit user Viking Pain. His first question: do you guys think the coronavirus quarantine will last past Sakura Genesis? I think with New Japan not canceling the show outright, like with the New Japan Cup, the show will happen unless something major happens.
Without knowing anything extensively about what is happening in Japan, aside from the reports that we're getting about how many cases they're having and how many deaths, everything like that, I can't speak with authority. But if I was a betting man, based on what we're seeing worldwide, I would say it's not happening.
Yeah, based on what we're seeing, I would think it would get canceled. And, I mean, with the New Japan Cup, that was kind of a week-by-week thing. We didn't know what was happening, and then week 1 got canceled, then week 2 got canceled, and then eventually more cancellations started coming. And so right now, I'm sure they're probably hoping and praying that they could pull off Sakura Genesis, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I know that they're working to do whatever they can in their power to potentially put on the next available show, that they're whatever's in their power. They want to bring this product back to us. Obviously, that's in the best interest of their company, their performers, their fans, and everyone abroad. But we're still beholden to the facts of life and the reality of what this disease is and how easily it is spread. And I just don't know if Sakura Genesis is like in the first week of April, usually.
It's March 31st this year.
Yeah, and even if it gets pushed back, most estimates, like most very, very hopeful estimates, are like the end of May. But realistically, we're looking at
June, right?
Probably
July.
Maybe June or July. And that's really a guess. That's just based off of like if the right things happen, if the right measures are taking place. And that's why it's important for everybody to do their part. But, there's not a vaccine for this thing. And so we kind of have to treat it the same way that they had to treat SARS back in like 2002, 2003. So until this thing's eradicated, I don't know that they're going to be doing, sumo hall shows or Budokan and, or even Corkin or anything like that. So I'm telling you, I don't think it's happening.
Well, that plays into the next question. He asked, with the WWE most likely to be canceling WrestleMania due to the coronavirus, do you think Wrestle Dynasty in August will have a chance of selling out now, since wrestling fans will have extra cash to spend?
If it happens, there is a good possibility that the show will do well. I hope that it sells out, but I don't know that it does.
I think the chances are better with people obviously having their WrestleMania tickets canceled. If people are getting refunds, obviously for plane tickets and for tickets to shows, there could be a lot of people who want to spend that money towards Wrestle Dynasty. So I think it does increase the chances. I can't say 100% sure if it's going to sell out or not, but I think it's looking good. It's looking better.
We need the right advertising, though. We need the right marketing.
Need a card.
And we need the right things to happen, because who knows if by August we can still... I don't know if we're going to be able to by August. I'm optimistic that we will be able to meet in large groups like that, and hopefully it's safe for everybody. But I do think that people having their expendable income opened up like that. But keep in mind, there's other things competing for those dollars, like AEW, like other WWE shows, and who knows what else is going to happen on the independent circuit. So I don't know for sure one way or the other, but I think it makes it easier for people to spend money on it than it would have been previously.
Yeah. His next question, he says, also, have you guys seen the prices of the Wrestle Dynasty show? What do you guys think about them? Me personally, I think those prices are really reasonable, especially for an MSG show. And will we be seeing you guys in NYC? So yes, I have seen the ticket prices, and I do have them pulled up right here. So right now, so the balcony C, $20, balcony B, $40, balcony A, $60, stand C, $80, stand B, $100, stand A, $150, floor B, $150, floor A, $200, ringside B, $300, ringside A, $500. Now there's no map, so I'm not exactly sure where those sections are in the arena, obviously besides maybe the floor there. But last year for G1 Supercard in MSG, we paid about $150 for our seats, and I think we were like in the 100 section, and they were pretty good seats.
For the time that I was at the show, watching the show, I thought they were good. I was obliterated at that show, to be honest. Like, it was not a good time for me. But yes, those were good those were good seats for a good price. I am questionable about those $500 seats. If you got the money and you're gonna spend it on it, God bless you. But I don't know if it's kind of like, is it a given? Are they just going to sell out? Like, there's people that are that diehard that are going to pay those prices, or
maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
But overall, I think
it's not bad.
Yeah, and like we said on the top of the show, we are planning on going to New York City. Friend of the show, Dan Coffin, I believe, will be going with us too, and
I'll go provided it's safe for air travel, because that's one of my biggest concerns.
Right, obviously with air travel, and just even the fact if we can meet with obviously a large number of people.
Yeah, because I mean, even if they say like it's safe, even if they allow it, unless it's like safe, I don't know if I'm gonna like. Here's the thing with air travel: you have to understand, when you're in a pressurized cabin like an airplane, that is one of the biggest concerns for travel, because this disease is spread by droplets, and it's not completely airborne, but they're recycling the air that everyone is breathing. So when people are sneezing, I don't know if you've ever flown, but there's people sneezing, there's people breathing, coughing, and yeah, that's a high risk scenario. So I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
As of right now, we're trying to be optimistic, and
I'm hoping to go.
If everything's cleared and fine, we will be there. We'll try and have some kind of fan meetup before the show and have a good time out there. And then his last question: have you guys seen the recent Okada documentary on World? Thoughts about it, and who would you guys like to see next?
So I didn't see this because I'm still prepping for my SEI test, but or SIE, but you watched it, right?
Yeah, I watched it.
What is it? What's the deal with it?
So it's an hour documentary that follows Okada from the beginning of the G1 last year to the end of the G1, and just following his life as everyday wrestler. And I thought it was a real great look at just the life of Kazuchika Okada, and kind of talking about he wants more people to think pro wrestling is cool. He wants to be a role model for kids. He wants pro wrestling to be cool, and just kind of watching, his journey and how he kind of fell in love with wrestling and going to Mexico, and then just kind of the toll on his body that, obviously the strong style takes. And, they followed him to doctors. He was struggling with a knee injury throughout the G1, and just kind of seeing the pain that he was going through there. And then also they really touched on the whole Shibata relationship, and the flashback to the Shibata match and how it pained him that happened in his match, and he put a lot of blame on himself and cried every time he thought about it. And
oh man,
that
makes me want to cry.
He had a lot of closure with that when Shibata watched him win the New Japan Cup, and Shibata told him he had to win, and so he won. And so also they kind of keep kayfabe a little bit throughout, but yeah, it was still kind of a great look. And a lot of his pre-match rituals, before a big show, he sits in a bathtub and pours soda water over his skin, and just some of the warm-ups he does before matches. And it talks about like the development of the Rainmaker character.
Is that why he has such good skin? Because he pours soda water on him? Is that his secret?
I guess so.
Oh, we need to start doing that.
And they showed him like going to like the top stylists in Japan to get his hair done, and it talked about his very first time in America when he was wrestling up north before he went to TNA, and he wrestled MVP and like he was like, the booker was like, "What's your character?" And he was like,
I'm the fucking Rainmaker.
"It's like,
dog.
what do you mean? What's my character? Like, I'm just a wrestler. Like, I want to wrestle." He didn't like. He's like American wrestling, like American style, kind of like broke what I thought about wrestling. Like, you have to have this character that connects and reaches out to people, and then that's kind of when the Rainmaker, he had the idea of creating the Rainmaker, and even like the Rainmaker finisher. He's like, he had this idea of like, yeah, how cool would it be to like spin your opponent around and then hit them with a strong lariat. He's like, I'm gonna keep this until I go back to the dojo.
Jake Roberts been doing that shit forever. But no, I need to see it. That sounds really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's a really great kind of deep dive. Okada.
Fortunately for me, I haven't. We kind of knew at this time it was gonna be a struggle for me to even cover the cup and everything with what I'm doing currently. So this break, I know a lot of people are like, they're sort of in wrestling withdrawal and they're like, struggling to watch everything, they're watching like a lot of this other content that's being put up. Unfortunately, I haven't had a good opportunity to really watch a lot of it, to be honest. But like, it's exciting, the things that they're putting up. I definitely want to dive into it for sure.
Yeah, and as far as who I'd like to see next, I think I would love to see like a Kota Ibushi documentary, just because he's so interesting himself.
He's so fucking weird. And he's awesome. And
there was a little bit of Ibushi in the Okada documentary as they were kind of building up to their final A-block match, and just Ibushi's body. They showed his ankle and the treatment he was getting on his ankle and his body, and just like...
They showed his ankle and they showed it actually messed up, like in video?
Well, it was kind of like...
It's a work. It's a work.
But
we know that his ankle wasn't really messed up. We know that shit was a work.
But yeah, and Ibushi just asking the doctors like, "Is my body going to be able to hold up?" Kind of stuff like that. And so I think it'd be really interesting to get like an Ibushi documentary.
Dude, there's a lot of guys that I wouldn't mind them doing. Naito's one, Kenta's one.
I think Ishii
would be cool. Tanahashi, they've done a lot of stuff on Tanahashi. With Tanahashi, who knows? Sonata.
Yeah.
Why not? There's a lot of guys out there that even some of the like Zack Sabre Jr. or Will Ospreay would probably be really cool too.
Yeah. Also, another cool thing they showed up.
Will Ospreay could challenge for that U.S. belt.
Yeah, he could. Okada, they showed he drives a Ferrari because he wants to uphold the image of a pro wrestler and the lifestyle of a pro wrestler.
Ric Flair 2020.
So moving on, next question from Reddit user Rambone Slam Pig. Says Gato can't take those titles from Naito if he doesn't have any matches, right? Well, you see, it ain't up to Gato. It's up to the IWGP on what happens to those titles.
Y'all couldn't see me, but I was doing the meme. I was pointing to my head. What's the meme where the guy's wearing the hat? What's that hat called? The African hat.
Oh, the Hotep.
The Hotep
memes.
Rambone Slam Pig out here with the Hotep on his head. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But no, Jeremy's absolutely right. It's up to the IWGP. I think given the circumstances right now, if they strip Naito, they got to strip everybody. Do you remember when WCW stripped all their champions?
Yeah, yep.
Bro, I remember watching that and thinking, this is fucking awesome. They're restarting the entire... This company's been terrible. They're going to restart it. It's going to be better than ever. I remember Sid Vicious walking out with the belt, and he was so sad he had to drop the WCW title, and then they never moved him to the main event ever again.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. You're absolutely right. Like he can't drop the title if he doesn't have any matches. But with that being the case, we do know that the whole thing with having a prestigious title run isn't just the length of days. It's the title defenses.
Yeah.
And if he's had one.
Yeah, against Kenta. Yeah, that was it.
And he's been holding it since January. So we're 3 months in with one title defense. I don't know, Chief.
Yeah. Next question from Reddit user PSand91. I've been watching a lot of Stardom of late and got me wondering, do you ever think we will see that roster fully integrated into New Japan shows, or will they just stay separate?
Separate. The next question comes. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is the men's wrestling show. We ain't got time for no women on this show.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you know New Japan is sexist and misogynistic? God, I don't even know why you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, I think as far as the wrestling goes, they're going to keep it separate. We have been seeing a lot of the talk show stuff with the Stardom wrestlers and New Japan wrestlers interacting. Obviously, both under Bushi Road now. It does make sense in this time to kind of do some kind of cross-promotion, cross-branding. But overall, we talked about in the past, we might see some matches like before Dominion, before Wrestle Kingdom, like a dark match kind of thing. But I don't think we're going to ever get like a full integration and have like a quote-unquote women's division in New Japan. So, but yeah, Stardom's awesome. I love it. So,
and I'll say this. I agree with Jeremy. I don't think we'll ever see that. But, wrestling's weird. Stuff happens. You just never know.
You never say never in wrestling.
You never say never. And I'm not just saying that. Like, who knows? Maybe one day they would.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
that would completely buck the trend of, having Joshi and Men's Puro separate, but maybe they would.
I mean,
who knows?
At the end of the day, it's all about business.
It's business.
If Bushi Road thinks they can do better business with Stardom and New Japan combined together, that's what they're going to do.
With the fact that they both are on completely different cable networks and they have those obligations and those roots usually run very deep, I wouldn't anticipate it. But who knows? What if hypothetically, quote unquote, something happened where, Stardom was no longer under contract or got booted or something like that? What if it became a necessity? Could something like that happen down the road? Yes. Would it be a positive? I don't know. We've talked at depth in previous episodes about the repercussions, positive and negative, of something like that. I don't know if the positives outweigh the negatives, so I don't know if it would ever happen. But I think given the fact they're owned by the same company, it's not an impossibility.
Right.
I just don't think it's likely.
Next question here from Reddit user WizFactor says, Gato is renowned as the best booker in the business, in part because of his ability to gracefully update feuds and storylines in light of sudden changes.
Did he win Booker of the Year this year?
He did.
Nice. Better than Tony Khan.
Do you feel like the current pandemic is the biggest booking challenge yet for Gato? Bigger than even the aftermath of Wrestle Kingdom 10 and 13?
Yes, I would say. I mean, it's a unique challenge. It's not necessarily the same as losing major roster members like they did, at those two aforementioned Wrestle Kingdoms. But, I mean, it's a huge booking challenge for everybody in the entire industry. But given the fact that we've had to halt everything that's happening completely, it does make you wonder what kind of decisions Gato's going to make going forward, because it's like you have to take in consideration the directions they wanted to go in, the directions that they were already in the process of going in, and when they will actually be able to even start up again, and how all that plays into one another. There's a good likelihood that I could see this as being a likely scenario where they're like, literally, we're going to have a show and it's day one. I'm not saying like they're going to scrap everything that's ever happened, and I'm not saying it's a reset, but it's sort of like a light. I could see it if enough time passes where it's like a light reset, almost like another
New Year's Dash,
another quote unquote New Year's Dash. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't pick up on some of the feuds that they started, but I could see some of the feuds that they started maybe being forgotten or being even held off until a later date, especially if it doesn't fit into the future booking decisions. And, we also have to kind of consider what kind of parameters New Japan's going to have as far as travel restrictions in the future, what venues they will be able to run. All of that is going to play a big role and element into the future decisions. So, yeah, I think this is a wholly unique and different sort of challenge that any booker has had in recent modern times. So, yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big challenge. I mean, luckily, with New Japan kind of being halted, I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff that he can. Obviously, the Naito Hiromu match hasn't happened. There's some stuff that he had planned that he can just kind of rearrange, but it's still going to be a big challenge. Especially, let's say worst case scenario, they can't start back up until Wrestle Dynasty. Like that's the first big show. Like, how do you get that card together? How do you hype that show up with being gone for so long?
Another thing too is something that they have going for them is like the national pride of what it's going to mean for them to actually return. They're going to have a lot of positive fanfare and excitement. I'm not saying that they need to come here like giving us bullshit, but like I wouldn't be surprised if the first show didn't necessarily have, I mean, it might have a title match, but it might be like this, we're all like, did you ever see those All Together shows back in the day, like after the tsunami?
No, I don't think I have.
So they had a collection of shows. Now those were not just New Japan. It was Noah, All Japan, and New Japan teaming together to put those on. They were like relief benefit shows. And there was like a very like nationalistic pride sort of like, we're all in this together, like as a country, because it was after the tsunami and the stuff that happened with the power plant, the Fukushima.
Yeah.
So this is something that's sort of akin to that. And, Japan is a very like traditional and sort of like, I don't know how to put it, but like there's been death, there's been loss, there's been heartache and struggle that has taken place. And so it's going to be a happy moment when they come back together. So I don't know if they jump back into Mox and ZSJ or Dangerous Techers and the Golden Aces storylines. I don't know if they're going to pick up off of that. They could, but they might do like this grand show day one where it's like, we are New Japan. We are still here. We're standing together and we're here for you people. And I think that might be the direction they go, sort of like a New Year's Dash, and then they kick off the storylines from that point. That might just be easier because there hasn't been a New Japan Cup. There's been no Sakura Genesis. And if they want to allude, I mean, they could easily do Hiromu and
Naito
at like maybe say the G1. I mean, I'm not saying Hiromu is going to be in the G1. I don't know that, or at another show later in the year. Those are possibilities. They might not do it right away. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of open-ended possibilities, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge not knowing exactly when you can come back and kind of constantly kind of moving the target as you're booking.
Yeah, they have positives and negatives. The positive is that we don't know where they were going, and so it leaves a lot of openness. Like they have a lot of open possibilities. Obviously, the challenge is figuring out when they're going to be able to return,
right? How
they're going to be able to return. But once they do that, they kind of have a lot of they have an open playing field.
Right.
But as far as like, we know that Gato likes to book in advance and he's very methodical. And so the hard part is rectifying what he had planned out with what is happening now. So that's going to be the difficult part. But I mean, if anybody can do it, he can do it.
Yeah.
So.
And then last question here comes from Twitter follower @Chris_Ertz. Can we get a watch-along episode with Jeremy and Young Boy set up? Would like to nominate Wrestle Kingdom 11 as the first show. So how do you feel about doing a watch-along episode?
I'm just wondering how we do that.
So essentially, we would just load it up. We would probably move the setup over to the living room and then just throw it on and just, as we're watching, make comments as we're watching the show.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I mean, like, I don't know, like, how much... Like, I'm not a big fan of us sitting there commentating on everything that's happening on screen. So, like, if we were to do this, hypothetically speaking, like, I would rather us just, like, bullshit and talk like we always do, just about whatever. And then we can, like, talk about... Have you ever seen, like, the Fight Companions that, like, Joe Rogan Experience does?
No.
So it's, like, him and, like, 3 or 4 of his buddies, and they all just get together. Sort of like what you, me, and Rich do. And, like, they just bullshit. You know what I mean? They're watching the show, but they're not just talking about the show. They're talking about all sorts of stuff. And then, like, we could do that. But here's my problem. It's like Wrestle Kingdom 11 is, like, a long show.
Right. That's a long... I mean, obviously, we do long podcast episodes, but that's even longer than a normal Keeping It Strong Style episode.
Like, y'all want to watch us for 6 hours or 5 hours? Like, that's... Also, we've never done video.
Well, it wouldn't be a video. So we would say, all right, everybody, we're starting Wrestle Kingdom 11 right now. Hit play. And so everybody's listening is synced up. So they'll still be listening to us. It wouldn't be them watching us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could do that. I don't know. I
mean, I've never done a watch-along episode before.
Well, my whole thing is this, is like, I guess I have to put my obviously we already gave our ages away earlier. I don't normally listen to a podcast that's a watch along show and then actually watch the show as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know people do that. And actually I think they do that like I think some podcasts do that on video.
Yeah, some do it on video, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's something we'll think about. The logistics of it are kind of tough. Like, but we might need to do it.
Right. If
like,
we do it, I don't know if we would do like a whole Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe we might pick matches.
Let's do Wrestle Kingdom 9.
I don't even remember how long that one was.
It's long. Any Wrestle Kingdom is going to be long.
But we might end up just like picking matches, maybe like a certain set of matches that equals to the length of a Keeping It Strong style.
Well, the great news is we are partnered with the New Japan Pro Wrestling extension, where you can have a customized playlist and you can share that with the watch party. So if you guys want to do it that way, I'd totally be down. Like we can customize a playlist, get it going.
Yeah.
But if we did an episode like that, I feel like we need more people than just you and me. Like I feel like we need to have like other people in here, and we need to like just
get lit.
Well, I get lit every episode. So. We're actually talking about this before the show. We Rich called us because he was like, these motherfuckers in Connecticut, they're doing WrestleMania. But at that point we were talking about doing the show, and I was like, I'm gonna get lit on this show. And then I thought to myself, well, I get lit every show. And then I thought to myself, I'm the Hangman Page of Social Suplex Podcast Network at this point, basically.
And that makes me the Kenny Omega. 7-star podcaster.
And then I was like, that makes sense because I'm trying to get out, and y'all holding me against my will, making me be a part of Social Suplex. I don't even want to be a part of Social Suplex.
ain't no getting out.
Ain't no getting out. And then I told Rich, we were like, that makes you and James the Young Bucks. And I was like, next time I see you, Rich, I'm gonna spit on you. tell you you're not as talented as your co-host.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to the main event of this show.
Hey guys, thank you for your questions. We wouldn't have anything to cover without you.
Now we're going to do the Bret Hart Wrestler ranking of the NJPW roster. Now, some of you might be asking yourselves, what is the Bret Hart Wrestler ranking? So essentially, Bret Hart has this kind of scale on how to, rank wrestlers, and it's based off of look, mic, and work. And it's a 10-point scale on each, and so the max score would be 30.
But we're going to take the suggestion that we saw in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Reddit, where they mentioned that Dave Shoemaker liked to add a fourth category, which is it factor, something that Bret Hart never had.
Oh
no, I'm lying. Bret Hart's like one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time.
and obviously, a lot of the wrestlers, obviously it's New Japan, speak Japanese. Obviously, Josh and I don't speak Japanese, but I do feel we can get a gauge on mic work just based off of translations from backstage promos. Who gets mic time? I mean, also there's not a lot of mic time on New Japan, but those closing show promos are a big deal. Who are the guys that get those closing promos? And when they get those closing promos, how's their body language? How's their demeanor? How's the delivery of what they're saying?
Also the content, because those translations, I mean, I know they're not perfect, and sometimes there are things that are lost in translation, but some of the stuff Taguchi says is there's no denying how funny it fucking is, or
right,
or how crazy some of the stuff that Hiromu says, or how cringy some of the things that Ibushi says, or
Kojima. We always win, even though we lose. Yeah.
So, and keep in mind, even though many people see us as a quote unquote authority on New Japan Pro Wrestling, just because we have this podcast, this is not the authoritative that we know everything about, how good these guys are on promos. This is maybe, say, the Western take on how we perceive these guys as talkers. Maybe Sonata's a fucking, 10 when it comes to promos.
Right.
And we just don't know. But we ain't giving him 10 this week.
Right. But that's why we add that it factor score. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen people do it both ways. I've seen the 3, and then you and I were talking about it before we did the show, earlier this week, and we're like, wasn't there a fourth category?
Yeah.
And I almost wanted to say it was it factor, but I wasn't sure because I knew that wasn't in the Bret Hart book. But then when someone told us it was I want to say was it Wiz Factor who said that to us?
Oh.
Maybe not. I don't know. It was in the New Japan Reddit.
Yeah, I think it might have been Highest Fly Flow, maybe.
No, it wasn't. It was someone who had a Z in their name.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the Reddit right now.
It's Z Rider 2. So
okay.
Shout out to Z Rider 2. And I actually commented on this and I said we should add It Factor. And then the reason I have it pulled up so fast is because I've been waiting all day for someone else to like my comment, because that's the kind of person I am. I'll go and I'll look to see if anyone liked my comment. I'm at 1.
1 up vote.
And that 1 up vote is me. So no, fuck y'all. But no, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and so also we're gonna go through the New Japan roster, and I have the spreadsheet open right now. I'll be typing in our scores and adding them up, so at the end we'll be able to see who is the highest and lowest. I did kind of take out the guys that are like more Ring of Honor affiliated, so there's no Jay Lethal or Chris Sabin on the list. I took out the Young Lions for now. I just feel like obviously
there's not enough to really gauge.
Right.
I mean, we could gauge. They do get to cut promos, but it's just not.
It's not the same.
It's
yeah.
not the same. And there are certain guys that you might think should be in there, like maybe say Amazing Red or TJP.
Yeah, took those guys out.
We took them out. You know, unless they're like regularly wrestling in Japan, pretty regular, we're not really considering them. So, but you know, I don't have the list in front of me. I've given no forethought to this little exercise whatsoever. I'm 3 Strawberry Ritas in, so I'm good to go.
All right, so and I have this listed alphabetically order. We're going to work our way down the list. So look.
So unbiased. We are so unbiased.
Look, Mike, work, It Factor. So starting at the top, Bad Luck Fale.
You know, speaking of which, there's a really funny episode of One Nation Radio from a few years ago where they did this.
Yeah.
And I know you listened to it. I haven't listened to it. So, like, I don't even remember how they did this. So, like, this is all off rip for me. So, like, I've been thinking, like, all week, like, I don't even know how this is going to work out or whatever. But, my God, Bad Luck Fale.
And we're going based off of how they are right now in 2020. So, obviously, Bad Luck Fale was in great shape back in the day. Nah, we're talking about how Bad Luck Fale looks today, how he works today.
Well, I will say this for look. That man just dropped a bunch of weight. Did you see?
No, I did not see.
I know that he had previously, and then he kind of gained it back. But there was a post on Reddit where like he's in really good shape for him again. Like in fact, he might be lighter than he was last time.
Interesting.
So you know, Peter probably said something and was like, you know,
need to tighten up.
Tighten it up.
And also, if we look, a couple different things going in. Obviously, we're looking at height, their weight. Are they jacked? Are they shredded? Do they have abs? Are they overweight?
Right. I also think some guys fit into different categories. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the look when I think of look, it's not just strictly the Vince McMahon look. I'm thinking of like marketability. You know what I mean? So like, for instance, for Bad Luck Fale, I wouldn't like, even though he's like an overweight guy, he's a monster.
Right.
So you want him to be like bigger. So let's start with the categories.
And by the way, we want to agree on the same point total.
We're going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
bro, you and I are extremely. I know we disagree on things, but like we're pretty amenable when it comes to like we do match of the month, wrestle of the month every single.
Right. Yeah.
We live in this freaking dojo together. Like things. We just signed another year-long lease. Like I think things are going pretty good in our relationship.
So all right. So Bad Luck Fale's look.
10. All right, but you have to agree with me now because you said you wanted us to. No, I'm just playing. So what are your thoughts?
All right, so clearly he's tall. He's a big monster, but he does have some extra weight on him.
Here's the thing. I think Fale actually has a very good look for wrestling.
Yeah.
I think his look, he comes out, he's got the scar, he's got the glasses on, he's got a really good character. He's imposing, especially in Japan when there's less people that like have that similar look. Now, when he comes out with like Make Jobbers Great Again shirts on, and he is so lackadaisical in the way that he's carrying himself, that doesn't come off like a superstar to me. It comes off like B-level wrestler, like when he wears a shirt that says Make Jobbers Great Again, and he looks like a jobber to me, you know what I mean? You know, pin me, pay me shirts, shit like that. it makes me kind of question. So it's like I could go higher if like he portrayed him, if he took himself more seriously in the company, like 2014, 2015 Fale, I'd give a higher score for.
Yeah.
But right now I'm inclined to go a little bit lower.
I'm thinking 6.
Okay. Before we do this, what is the parameters? I know it's 1 to 10, but like let's like lay some groundwork. So like a 10 is like obviously
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. What's like a 7?
I think 7's above average.
So 5 would be like pretty good.
Yeah, I think like if you're 5 or 6, you're pretty comparable.
And then like below that, like a 3 is
pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So
5's like that kind of middle ground. Like,
so 5 is like good.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think he's better than okay. Now I would say 6.
Yeah, 6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, mic work.
So the thing with Fale has some really great one-liners, and he's actually got a really quick wit, but he's not someone who's going to go out there and cut amazing promos.
No. And when he does, like I watched, so the recommended match of the week last week, the Okada-Shibata match. Afterwards, he kind of comes out, attacks Okada, and cuts this promo, but it was like real quick. You can barely understand him. He throws the mic down. And I feel like a lot of his mic work is like that. Like he's just saying stuff really fast. Sometimes you can't understand him.
But he does have a presence about himself. Like he's believable. He's screaming and he's imposing, but it's hard to like actually sink your teeth into what he's saying. I would go 6 on his promo.
That's what I was
work.
thinking too.
Oh my God. We are so fucking in sync right now. I'm Justin and you're JT.
All right. Work.
Those are only 2 NSYNC members I can remember. No, you're Lance Bass. Work. Oh God. So right now in 2020, I would go 3.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
The work is bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And then for it factor,
I would go 5. Maybe a little higher. I don't know.
maybe 6.
Maybe 6. The thing is, like, Fale does have something about him. Like, when he hits that bad luck fall and all that shit, but, like, he just seems so unmotivated.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a bigger star, and he's, in the past, came off like he was, but right now he does not at all.
Yeah. So Fale with a final score of 21 out of 40. So a little bit above half there.
All right.
Moving next, we got Bushi. Look.
Oh, so that's a mixed bag because he has like the best entrance gear of anybody in the company, like bar none, almost always. And then his wrestling gear is usually like incredible, but he always wears a fucking t-shirt.
Right. We have to initiate what Rich deemed 3 years ago when they did this show, the Roman Reigns rule.
What's the Roman Reigns rule?
If you have a good body and you cover it up, you get deducted points. So clearly Bushi, he's a junior heavyweight. He's in great shape, but he's
not in great shape.
He's
in good shape.
He's in good shape, but he always covers the body up. He's always wearing the shirts.
Right.
Yes.
It's part of his gimmick.
Yeah, mid-match he does take it off, but he comes out with the shirt on.
I also think he comes out like he has incredible gear to kind of cover up the fact that he doesn't have that good of a look. Is part of my thinking.
Yeah.
I would go higher than Fale.
7?
I would go 7 with his look.
Okay. Then mic work. So Bushi's a guy we really don't hear that much from most of the time.
Or if we do, we skip it and we don't.
It's like the post-match is probably the most. I don't think he's ever. I can't recall him ever cutting like a closing show promo.
No, I mean, so few people do that, and so few juniors, so I wouldn't hold that against him. But, I mean, I've seen some of his promo stuff in the back. It's fine, but nothing that's really compelling to me. Again, I don't speak Japanese, but I would go, I don't know, I'd go like 4.
4?
I don't even know if it's good, to be honest. Like, I think
what about 5? Just
5's fine.
Midway. Okay, the work.
Bushi's work is good, but it's not great. Bushi's not bad. People give him a rap for being bad, but there's also this contingency of people who act like Bushi is really, really good, and he's not. I don't know. I mean, that's my take on it.
Like, he has really good matches, obviously, with good workers, and, like, I think he's comparable. I think he's, like he's not bad.
Yeah, I think Bushi can have a really good match when needed. You know, he can turn it on, and he's not bad in multi-man matches, but he's like a utility player. You know what I mean? Like, he's like your standard New Japan.
He's a good hand.
He's a good hand. I wouldn't go super low, but I would go 7 on that.
7? Okay. I'll go with that. All right, and now It Factor.
5.
Yeah.
Bushi does not come off as a star to me. I mean, I understand that to some people he does, the mask, and they think he has a lot of charisma, but I mean, in a group of guys who all have something special about them, like, he seems like the one guy who's, to me, him having all this drip when he comes out and everything like that, as far as his look and everything, it's like a short guy who bought a giant like Ram 1500 truck. They're overcompensating for something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it comes like to me. Like he's the thing he's trying to overcompensate for isn't the fact that he's not a good wrestler, isn't the fact that he's not a good talker. It's the fact that he doesn't have the it factor. He's not a star.
Right.
And to me, he's not a star. What did I say he was?
You gave 5.
No, 4.
4? Okay.
I'm like 4. I would go 4 on star factor. You know what? 5's fine. Let's go 5.
Yeah, I think obviously with also the mask kind of get up and the gimmick is kind of cool, and there are people who wear his mask, but obviously he's not that huge of a star, so I'm fine with 5. So that gives us
over there apparently he is.
Yeah. So that gives us a final score of 24 out of 40 for Bushi. Next up, we got the crown jewel, Chase Owens.
Oh,
look.
10. That was someone, when you were asking like who you'd like to see a documentary, 1-hour documentary on, Chase.
Actually, yeah, that'd be, I mean, Chase is a great guy. I would love to see a Chase documentary.
No, for look though, God, I hate to do this. Chase has a bad look.
He does. I mean, he has gotten a little bit in better shape, but he looks like grade A Jag, just a guy, not well defined, just kind of that, country, that old school kind of looking body.
I'm going to go low on this. I'm going to go 4.
That low?
5 is like pretty good. I think Chase has a bad look.
Okay.
I mean, Chase comes out in generic. I mean, his gear is kind of cool, but it's like Bullet Club gear, but there's nothing special about it. He's got, Tiger Hattori said it this week. Like, if this guy had a better face and a better body, he'd be a top star, but he doesn't. Like, so I'm going to go low for right now. Now, if Chase got in better shape and maybe cleaned up his look to some degree or gave himself like a new coat of paint, we might be having a totally different discussion. Now, I'll say this. I think that this will be his lowest category.
Yeah. All right.
Is his look. That's the thing that's
I'll go
back.
I'll
go
with
4.
Yeah, I'll go with you with the 4. So next we got mic work. I think Chase
is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great talker. I mean, the promos he was doing, like
Chase is so good on the mic.
leading up to the Ibushi match that was supposed to happen. Like, he's a really good promo.
Now, is 8 too high or is 7? Because I wouldn't put him in the elite level of talkers. I think he's a very good talker.
I think 7 is good.
7's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So then work, dude. Any listener of this show knows that we love Chase Owens and think he is awesome in the ring. So yeah,
Chase Owens is one of my favorite workers in New Japan. I would go 8.
Yeah,
and I think that he has the potential to be higher than that, given more opportunities. But for right now, based on what we see of him, based on what we know of him, I would go solid 8, and that's a high ranking.
Yeah. So in the last category, it factor.
6.
I'm good with that. Yeah, obviously with the look, he just doesn't really have that it factor. He doesn't really come off as a star. I mean, if you're watching New Japan for the first time, he's like when we talk lackey.
We talk about it factor. We're talking about charisma. We're talking about somebody that grips you, someone that either inspires hate or inspires love. Someone that and Chase is kind of like you. You kind of have to dig. You got to dig under the surface. Like he's like that guy with the heart of gold. He's not the best looking guy or anything, but like once you get to the gooey center, he's a great guy. I mean, he's solid. Like you can learn to love him, but you gotta peel back the shells. That's how it is with Chase. I love Chase Owens.
So Chase 25 edges out Bushi by 1 point. I'm sure he'll love to hear that.
Absolutely.
So the next guy on the list is one that was kind of questionable due to his limited appearances. Le Champion, Chris Jericho. Do we want to do Jericho?
We're going to do Jericho, but when we do Jericho, we're only going to talk about New Japan Jericho. We are not... Now, I understand that when you bring Jericho into New Japan, there is some influence of the aura and mystique of the fact of who he is in the States. But we're primarily basing this off of just his Japanese work.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm totally fine. Let's do Chris Jericho.
All right, so look for Jericho.
This is a tough one because Chris Jericho kind of looks bad, but he kind of looks like a star all at the same time.
Right. I mean, obviously his body. Obviously, come on. He's what? He's over 40 now. Like his body is not 1999. He's not gonna have the perfect body. He stays in, I mean, relatively decent shape.
Now for that, I know we're not talking about this exclusively, but like the last pay-per-view, he got in really. That's some of the best shape I've seen him in.
Revolution.
Yeah, his Revolution shape was like about as good as he was in shape when he first came to Japan at Wrestle Kingdom to wrestle Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he keeps that up. Like I want him to be in good, healthy shape just for his life. It's hard, obviously, at his age. But the thing is like he keeps reinventing himself. He keeps changing his gear. He brought over the Painmaker gimmick. Now that gimmick does add a lot to the presentation of Jericho. The spikes, the leather jacket, the fedora, the makeup, the black makeup. And he carries himself like a fucking superstar. And the thing is like, he is sort of like this delusional rock star who thinks he's the fucking hottest thing that's out there when he's absolutely not.
Right.
I would go 7.
That's exactly what I was thinking. 7 on the look.
7 on Chris Jericho's look. At 49 years old, you're wrestler of the year.
Mike, obviously Jericho is amazing on the mic. Great promo. Like you mentioned, the Painmaker character has its own kind of promo style.
I would go 9.
Yeah.
I would go 9. That's how fucking good Jericho is on the mic. Jericho sells tickets. Jericho puts asses in seats. Jericho endears the hearts of fans in Japan and in the U.S. and across the world to watch his matches, to see him either get beat up or get his comeuppance or see what's going to happen. Like, Jericho's fucking great. And, like, the press conferences, the post-match stuff, like, Jericho's one of the best talkers in the sport today. Like, 9. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, all of Jericho's stuff, even in just New Japan, has been excellent. And just the way he's been able to build up matches.
Huh? You hear me? Huh? Bakahashi?
Be able to build up matches just off those promo skills. So definitely.
And I love when he like gets somber. In Japan, he does this thing that he doesn't really do in the States where he talks very normally like this. And he's Chris. He's Chris. And then the Painmaker comes out. He's like, "Are you serious? You didn't know? Like,
I'm not tranquilo.
I'm not tranquilo. I'm fucking crazy." Yeah, he's the best, man.
Yeah.
He's great.
All right, work. 2020 work.
In Japan.
Yes, in Japan.
Well, I think that, we haven't seen him too much. Obviously, I mean, I just want to say this. Like, the match with him and Tanahashi
they was awesome.
Yeah, and they laid that match out 15 minutes before the match even happened. That tells you, even with the, language barrier, that's a big deal. I think right now Jericho's at an 8. Yep.
Yeah, Jericho's man, dude, we're on the same wavelength, man.
That's because we know our shit, Jeremy. We know our fucking shit. Come on.
Yeah, I'm all in that 8.
About to get a 4th Rita.
And the last category, it factor. I mean, obviously Jericho is a huge star. I know we're talking about just New Japan, but even in just New Japan, how he's been able to kind of push New Japan World subscriptions, generate interest in his match, capture that Japanese audience with that Painmaker character.
Well, the question is, with all that being said, there have been arguments about him being repetitive in Japan. Kind of, even though he's redefined his character, the match layouts, the shtick of what he's doing, it's very formulaic. And so I think we're going to go high on this one. But the question is, are we at a 9 because of how magnetic he is as a performer? Or are we at 8 because maybe he's sort of worn out his welcome to a certain degree and also been inconsistent with his appearances. What do you think?
Man, that's tough. I'm leaning a little bit more towards 9 just because of how magnetic he is, how charismatic he is. The fact that he is such a star is why he can show up periodically because he's at that level.
I'll give you the 9, but I think he might be an 8.
You want to go 8.5?
Can we do that?
Yeah.
This is our show?
Yeah, I mean, Rich and James did that on theirs.
This is our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do.
Yes, you want to do 8.5?
8.5. Split the difference.
All right, so that puts Jericho at 32.5.
Wow, that's pretty
out of 40.
fucking high. He's 49?
Something like that, right?
God, I don't know.
Something high 40s.
He's old.
Yeah, so Jericho currently...
He needs to be careful. No, I'm not going to say that. That's messed up.
The highest guy on the list.
I was going to make a Corona joke, but Corona jokes are not good. I shouldn't make a joke about Corona.
Next up, David Finlay.
Okay, Dave Finlay. We're starting with look, right?
Yes, look for David Finlay.
Dave is a guy who's really improved his look since he made his return. He's gotten in better shape. He's improved his ring gear. He grew the hair out. He's kind of got highlights going. He's kind of got a different look. I'd go 7 on the look right now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he lost a lot of weight, got in really great shape for that return from the injury.
Yeah, I'd go 7. Now, where I'm almost inclined to go a little bit lower, just maybe I would attribute that to like it factor. So I'm going to leave that out on that side. I think he's got a decent look. I wouldn't call it a great look, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Mic work. We've seen a little bit of Finlay on the mic. I'll see a lot of the backstage stuff with him and Juice.
I don't think Dave Finlay is very good on the mic.
I think when he's with Juice, they kind of play off each other.
They have a comedic thing going,
yeah,
and that's fine. But he comes out there talking like, and yeah, wrestling in general needs more of this, like people being themselves. But what makes a star is when someone's being themselves turned up to
yeah.
11. He's never really turned up to 11. He's like, he talks like me, like if I was trying to be a pro wrestler, and I don't think I, you know what I mean? Like he still hasn't tapped into, I think he's got potential to be better because he's definitely a smart guy, but I think him, and you know what, we'll get to Juice, but like, I think Juice also shows signs of being a better talker, but sometimes I don't think Juice is that good either. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go like 6 on that. And I think he's got a lot of room for growth and room for improvement.
Definitely. All right, work.
Solid hand.
Yeah, he's almost in that Bushi category. A good hand you can put in there. He's going to have a solid match. You put him in there for a really good worker, he's going to have a really good match. He can carry a young lion to a really good match.
But I don't think he has great singles matches when he's put into singles positions. He had good matches with, say, like Jay White in the past, but even those never really like truly resonated with me. I didn't think the match, granted it was a glorified squash match, but I didn't think the work with him and Lance Archer really blew me away. I think he excels more as a tag or multi-man match wrestler.
And this year, that's what mainly he's done is tag stuff.
And he's been a standout in those regards. I would go 7.
Yeah, I was looking at Bushi. What we gave Bushi, a 7. So I was thinking 7 for Finlay. Also,
I'm going off the heart. I'm going off rip. I'm not gonna even. I trust my gut.
All right, then last but not least, the it factor, and I don't think
I'm going 5.
I'm right there with you. Yeah,
there's something that's a disconnect. I love Dave Finlay. I think he's got all the potential in the world. When we talk about people that have a lot of potential and growth, a margin for growth, he's up there. But right now, he's still missing something, and I think he's a 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. There's that missing it factor that to push him over the top.
When people see him, they don't think star. Right now.
And so his final score is 25. So we have him and Chase both at 25.
I think Chase is a better worker, but that's pretty apt as far as their placement in the company. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So next up, this should be fun. Doki.
Oh, God. All right, for look, I don't know, 3?
I'm not a big fan of Doki, but that low, maybe. Well,
I think Doki has an abysmal look. I think he's got a bad body, and he's covering up his bad body, too.
Yeah.
I don't think his gear is cool. I don't think his face paint is cool. I don't think that pipe that he brings out to the ring is cool. I don't think his long hair is cool. I think Doki is trash. I think the only thing that's going for him is the fact that he's leaning into the fact that he's a grungy, indie trash, like lucha guy.
All right, let's do it. 3.
I don't see anything about his look that is endearing aside from the fact that he fits he reminds me of someone that like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would have beat the shit out of, or like I think the Power Rangers would have fucked him up.
Oh my gosh. Mic work. Obviously, he hasn't gotten much time.
Doki is good on the mic. Doki is fucking good on the mic.
Is he?
Yes. Yeah, he cuts these promos about all these guys who think that they like he's like Lucha Bane. He's like you've merely adapted. You've merely adopted.
I was the creation.
He's like, you've adopted the lucha. I was born in it, formed in it. I think he's pretty good on mic, actually. I don't think he's great, but he's pretty good. Like I wouldn't give him a 3 or any shit like that.
6?
Yeah, I go 6.
Okay. Work. I think he's really hit or miss.
He's gotten better.
Yeah.
I don't know, 5.
Yeah, that's and it factor.
4.
Let's do it.
God.
So that puts Doki at 18 as our lowest guy on the scoring board so far. And then just to remind you, the highest right now, Chris Jericho at 32.5.
Did you ever play those Sega Genesis like side scroller beat 'em up games? Like Streets of Rage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like a guy in Streets of Rage on the first level that you like would just walk up to, and his name would be like Punk Ass, and you would just and you hit him with like 3-punch combo, and then he would hit the ground and then just evaporate into nothingness.
He would be a lackey for like Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, he's unnamed assailant like number 1. Like.
Yes. All right. Moving up a little bit in the Suzuki-gun ranks, we have El Desperado.
Okay. So as far as look, Despy, well, here's one thing. Despy is an extremely attractive man underneath the mask, and he wears the mask. Do we go with the Rich Latta? He's covering it. He's covering up. He's got a good body, good face.
True, but he's a luchador.
That's true, and not only that, but his mask is fucking raw.
Yeah, so I'm not going to give him the Roman Reigns rule there.
Also, I really like when he wears the mask that has the cutoff where he wears the paint underneath.
Yeah.
It has a very like Peter Jackson sort of like monster movie sort of appeal to it. It's kind of weird. But I will say this. Since he's returned from injury, he's looked a little fluffy.
A little thick.
A little thick.
2 C's.
A little thick boy. Which isn't necessarily bad, but he was in really, really good shape prior to the injury. And so I'm hoping to see him kind of return to form. I think that does work a little bit against him. I don't think his gear is ever anything that's like, it fits the gimmick. He's had some cool gears, but I never think of his gear as being like extremely like awesome either. You know what I mean? He has a good look though. I mean, he's El Desperado. And
7?
Yeah, I'd go 7 on Desperado's look. He's got a good look. Yeah. And we've seen him look better, and you know he's coming off from a long injury. We're gonna give him some leeway.
Yeah. Mic work. So obviously
Despy's pretty good on the mic.
He's really good on the mic, especially we've seen in the past with that kind of the Hiromu rivalry in the promos he cut there. This year we've seen with the Roppongi 3K rivalry, and we've seen that through that whole rivalry, just the kind of promos he cuts, and I think he's really good based off of the translations.
I would agree with you. Everything you said is apt. I'd go 7.
All right. Yep. Let's go 7. Work. I think Desperado is a really good worker. He's had a lot of great matches. I mean, the one thing that hurts his work is leaning into the Suzuki-gun style of match, the plunder brawl, the cheating.
Yes, but he facilitates a role in the junior division that there's not a lot of guys necessarily who kind of, I mean, the guys who do that are Suzuki-gun guys, and I think he might do it better than the rest of them. I think
8 too high?
It's too high.
7?
He's a 7.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, the it factor.
7.
I'm right there.
I think that Desperado, and some people are probably like upset because they think 7 is like a little mediocre sounding, but it's like once you start getting up in 8, you're talking about upper echelon.
Right. Think about like a high school test. If you're taking a test and you get a 7 out of 10, you get a 70, that's a C, that's average. Like when you get to 8, you're a B, you're above, like you're towards the top of the class.
Yeah, I think that he's got the aptitude to be that, for sure. Absolutely. And he's shown hints of it through the years, but we've never seen it consistently. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've been watching him for a while. And, yeah, I would say right now where he is in the company, a 7 just across the board is that's good. That's pretty good, especially considering how much time he took off.
Yeah, so that gives him a final score of 28. So we got him above Finley and Chase Owens.
That sounds about right to me.
Now, the next one I think we might have a little battle on.
Okay.
The headbanger, El Phantasmo.
No, I'm pretty... The only thing we're going to argue about is
It's
work.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're going to argue about. And I think we can split the difference there.
Okay, so look.
I think he's got not a great look. I think that Desperado is a pretty skinny guy, but at the same time, he's a sniveling heel that you don't want to... He's kind of like grimy looking. He's got this bad facial hair. He kind of like reminds me of people I went to like middle school. like he's really easy to hate. He's like a high school bully.
He's got a punchable face.
He's got a punchable face, and he facilitates the role of being like one of the major baddies in the junior division, and he does it really well. I mean, he's so aggravating. Not only that, but like his entrance is really over. His gear, as far as the entrance and all that, never mind that it's like Kanye circa 2008. You know, it really is over. I think that his look is actually pretty good. I would go as high as maybe, is 8 too high?
I was thinking like 7, mainly because I
would go 7.5 on that look.
Okay, I can do that.
Just because I don't think he's completely at an 8. There's still some things he needs to put together.
Right. Like I think if he packed on some more muscle as far as like physique wise, that would help.
Yeah, his physique isn't quite there, but it also fits the character of what he's doing right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that like his gear is kind of, it is what it is. He's in the Bullet Club. He wears black gear. It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So now mic work.
I mean, he's one of the best guys in the mic. I'd go as high as 8.
I'm right there with you.
I mean, I hate him. I hate him. But the thing is, like, people think that, like, I always hear people be like, people are getting worked into hating him. They think, and they don't realize they're being worked. No, I realize it. Like, I just don't like him because he's a great heel. I hate him.
But I do think there are some people that kind of get overworked by him.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, he's solid on the mic. So I'm fine with 8. Now, here's the big debate, the work.
You think he's an 8 and I think he's a 6.
So,
right? What do you think he is?
Yeah, I would go 8.
And I think he's a 6. So what do you want to do there?
What about, can we land on 7?
Yeah, we can land on 7.
Okay.
That's fine. Because here's the thing. I'll give you this. He's one of the most athletically gifted guys on the entire roster. He can do things that most other performers, not just New Japan, but across the world, cannot do. I think he has very bad fundamentals. And I think he's got a bad sense of match layout and timing.
Who needs fundamentals when you can flip?
Every wrestler that's ever lived. I think his matches don't make sense a lot of the time. I think like he's like, do you remember? Okay, did you ever watch or read Superman?
Read it
or watch?
I mean, I've watched like the cartoon and stuff.
Okay, do you remember the I forget what it's called, but the Superman who was like the jumbled up version of Superman?
Yeah.
What was that guy called?
I can't remember now, but I know what you're talking about.
So if Will Ospreay is Superman, then this guy's like the jumbled up version. He's like kind of fucked up. He's similar, but not exactly.
All right. It factor.
He's got an it factor. He definitely does. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the star. I think he's got a star appeal, the light up jacket, the sunglasses, the whole.
He's got a lot of charisma.
Yeah, very, yeah.
And he's over.
Yeah, he's only been in New Japan for a short time, and I feel like he's
8.
Yeah, right there with you. So that puts El Phantasmo 30.5. Only 2.5 points behind Jericho.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Oh, fuck you. No, I'm just playing. It's fine. I'm not that upset or anything.
Next up, everything is evil.
Yo. My girlfriend just sent me a video of like Taker at the contract signing, and he was like, I think he was dressed up like American Badass Taker. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I can't wait to find out what happened on Raw. These like empty arena WWE shows are like very David Lynchian to me. They're like super surreal and like they're
so weird.
They don't make any fucking sense. Weird is the app. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Let's talk about Evil.
Look. So I mean, Evil. He kind of has that Hoss build. Obviously, he's not probably in super great. Like he doesn't have. I don't think he has a 6-pack or anything.
As we learned a few episodes ago, he's hot, apparently. I mean, Io thinks so. My girlfriend thinks so.
Right.
He's a heartthrob. He's a stud.
I mean, he does wear the singlet, so we never really see the full body.
I think the singlet works for him. But
it does.
I don't know. I'd go
7?
6. Oh. I don't know.
6.5?
Yeah, 6.5 is fine. Like, here's the thing is, like, I think his look is goofy to me. Like, it's cool. It's a gimmick, but I don't see that as being a star gimmick. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like, I don't know, if the look, like, I'm focusing more on the body.
Okay. But I don't think he's got a great body either.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of Hoss guys like that in New Japan.
Right.
But then we always talk about Tomohiro Ishii being like one of
the best bad body.
He's a bad-bodied wrestler.
Yeah.
I don't think Ishii is a good-bodied wrestler.
No. And when we get to him,
But I mean, you need wrestlers like that. You need different body shapes and sizes and everything, you know. But I don't know. 6.5 is fine.
Okay. Now, mic work. Obviously, we talk about Evil all the time. He thinks he's The Rock. He breathes in, everything is evil.
Evil's good on the mic, but he also doesn't have a lot of substance. I wouldn't go super high, but I wouldn't go low
7.
Either. 7's fine.
Work.
That's going to be a tough one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd go 7.
I'd go 7. If you think about it, when he wrestles guys like Ishii and Goto, he can usually have like a really good strong style match, but then sometimes when he wrestles other guys, it's not that great of a match.
I think his work is good. For some reason, I'm always just very disconnected from it, and I think part of it is the character. I don't know. That's my take on it.
And now, It Factor.
He's got It Factor.
Yeah. He definitely comes off as a star. Very charismatic.
Very charismatic. He's got It Factor. I think he needs something else to
get him kind of over the hump.
To get him to the next level. But there's no denying that he's got star potential written all over him.
7.5?
I was going to go 7.5.
Bro.
7.5. Absolutely.
So that brings Evil to 28 as his final score.
Pretty good. Is that lower than Headbanger?
No, Headbanger's 30.5.
That's what I'm saying. So he's
he's lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit higher than Chase and Bushi, and Finley. So that makes sense.
Okay.
Next up, I didn't know if we should have included this person since they're mainly a manager, but Gato.
We can include Gato. That's fine. He's a performer. That's
right. He does have. He still actively competes. So let's talk about the look.
Gato's look is pretty bad.
Yeah, he's short. He's fat.
He's got bad facial hair. The only thing that's cool about him is like he's kind of got like cool pants and cool like shoes and like that Newsies, like I don't know what it's called.
that hat.
That hat. Kinda,
the Kangol hat.
His look is better now than when he was in Chaos, but I don't know, man. I'd go 3.
Oh my gosh. All right, mic work. It's a strong style table.
He's great on the mic. He's great on the mic. There's a reason that they had him, paired up with Okada for so long, and he's been great on the mic for years and years. He gets heat every single time. People really fucking hate him. He's the mouthpiece for Jay White, who's a guy who can already talk. I would go as high as 8.
That's exactly what I was thinking. All right, so work.
His work is solid, but it's bad at the same time, but it's designed to be bad based off of 2 things, like his role in the company and also his age as well and his stature. So in a way, it's like his work is kind of good because he's facilitating the role that he wrote for himself.
Right. Obviously, he's not putting himself in the main event.
No. I would go 5. Yeah. Because if Gato needed to really go out there and put in a good performance against someone, he could. And like, I think about the match he had with Okada that one year, that Memphis style match.
That Memphis match. Yeah.
So it's like Gato can still go if he really needs to, and he doesn't do anything. When he's in there, you don't think like, God, this guy sucks. But his matches do kind of suck because they're supposed to. Like,
right, and he's doing a lot of cheating, a lot of avoiding, a lot of powdering.
And he's old.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go 5. It's fine.
And last but not least, it factor.
I don't know, 4. I don't think there's a lot of star power there, really, honestly, just me.
Right. There's not a lot of star power, but like you mentioned, he manages the stars. What about 5?
5's fine. I'm fine with that.
So that puts Gato at 21, the same as Bad Luck Fale.
I wasn't so sure about this Bret Hart Scale thing, but this is actually a lot funner than I thought it was going to be. So let's keep it rolling.
All right. So next up, this should be a high score right here.
Are we almost at 3 hours?
We're at 2 hours and 5 minutes right now.
Okay, I thought it was 50. I was like, damn. I was like, what the hell?
Up next, the ticking time bomb, Hiromu Takahashi.
Ooh, that's gonna be he's gonna do good. We know that.
Yeah. So let's talk about look. Now he's not shredded.
No.
I do think he did come back a little bit thick from after the injury.
Yeah, but his gear is so incredible and his presence and everything. 7.5?
Yeah.
I would go 7.5. I think and keep in mind, Japan's not America. So, the body's kind of different over there than it is here.
And technically he's a junior heavyweight. So if you're comparing him to other juniors, yeah. But I think 7.5 is good on the look. I mean, I think he could have a better body if he wanted to.
The thing though is like his gear is incredible. Like all the like jackets that are just so fucking punk, with like suicidal tendencies or like misfits and all that, and like the feathers and the boas and the crazy hair and everything. Like I think he's got an awesome look. I just don't think his body is quite what it could be.
Yeah. Now let's go to Mike. It's gonna be a little bit interesting.
I think he's incredible. 9.
9, okay.
I think he is one of the best promos that are out there. He's someone who. Now, did you watch any of the stuff between him and Naito?
I did not. I just saw like clips of like people sharing on Twitter.
I haven't either, but like when we talk about like us not understanding the language, someone I've always understood that I didn't totally understand. I think that his Japanese doesn't always translate super well to the translations necessarily. So I don't always get what he's saying, but he's clearly smart. He's got great timing. His character is fucking crazy. And like, he's got that saying that like, mata, and he can come out there and cut a promo. And we've seen him do post-match shows. We've seen him do the return angles. The crowd reacts so heavily to what he's doing. I think he's very, very high on mic. I'm a 9 on his mic work. Yeah. Based off of what I see.
Yeah, I was wondering if like, just because sometimes he can be a little bit goofy, if that would detract from the mic work, but overall, yeah.
I mean, I could go lower. I could go 8.5.
No, I'm good with 9. I just didn't know. Like, I just wanted to kind of bring that up because some people might be like, oh, well, he's kind of goofy. He kind of says
he is goofy, but he's so good. He can be serious. He can be goofy. His mic work is very much like his ring work. Like he can do a lot of different things and facilitate a lot of different types of tones and inflections and styles.
Yeah. Next up, the work.
Well, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world today. So
10.
10?
I mean, just based off of what he's done this year, or if not 10, then like 9.5.
9.5.
Okay.
I'm a 9.5. Let's go 10. Let's go 10 on ring work. Let's go 10 on Hiromu's ring work. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
And then it factor, 9.
Oh, no. I think Hiromu's a star.
10?
Yeah, I'm a 10 on Hiromu as far as star.
Okay.
I think anyone who sees him knows he's a fucking star. I think that New Japan, there's a lot of guys who are really great and they have a lot of talent, in-ring talent, but there's very few people who have that magnetic draw that Hiromu has. That I think if you take any person who watches Western wrestling, if you show them a guy like Sonata or Ishii or Kenta, they're not going to probably get it off the bat. You know, it might take some time, might take some education. You show anybody Hiromu right off the bat, and they're like, oh, he's a star. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's a 10.
Perfect.
I'm more confident about his it factor than his ring work.
Yeah, I mean, I you can't go wrong here at the 10. So that brings Hiromu's final score to 36.5. So he's now the leader, topping Jericho.
Holy shit. I almost feel like we might have overrated his ring work just slightly, but I'm fine with that.
I mean, I'm willing to go 9.5.
No, I'm not going to change it.
Okay.
We're going to put our balls on the table.
All right, next up, Hiroki Goto. Look, he has gotten in pretty good shape within the last year or so. I'm thinking 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Mic work for Goto.
Solid, but I wouldn't call it great.
6.
That's fine. Yeah.
Work.
Really, really, really. I would go 8.
Yeah.
I'd go 8. It's really good. It's inconsistent, but it's really good.
Yeah, especially when he's in there with the top level guys. And just looking at his, I mean, I know we're kind of focusing on 2020, but if you look at his kind of resume on what he's capable of and what he's done, he's a very talented professional wrestler.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, the it factor. I don't think we can go really high here.
I wouldn't go high. I wouldn't go super low.
All right, like 6, 5.
I would. Thing is, it's like Goto can definitely get sympathy though.
Yeah.
Like, and he's a star over there. Not a big star, but he's a star. I don't know. I'd go 7.
So okay, I can be talked into a 7. All right, so that brings Goto's final score at 28, tying with Evil, which I feel like both of those guys are kind of slotted.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, now we got the ace of the universe, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And obviously, Tanahashi, a New Japan legend, but also we're kind of focusing on Tanahashi now, not Tanahashi then.
It's tough when you're talking about someone who's so renowned, but then you also have to put it in the context of today, and you kind of have to do that in this case.
So let's talk about the look. Obviously, the body is not what it was in 2012, but I still think he's in decent shape for his age and just the level that he wrestles at.
I think he's got a fantastic look. I would go 8.5.
Okay.
He's constantly reinventing himself. His gear in 2020 is better than it ever was before. His body might not be quite what it was in the past, but as far as cosmetics look, he looks incredible most of the time. Like Tanahashi very rarely lets himself go, even when he's like not in quote unquote G1 or Wrestle Kingdom shape. He's still in great shape. Like Tanahashi looks fantastic, even if his body is, you know, as Zack Sabre said, you know, held together by, you know, what he say was held together with like hairspray and athletic tape.
Something like that, yeah. Mic work. I think Tanahashi is a great promo. I mean, he was every time he gets a lot of main events. He gets that show closing main event, which is very kind of important to send the fans home happy. He's in a lot of interviews, a lot of backstage stuff.
I think Tanahashi's really great, but also sometimes when I listen to his interviews, they don't make a lot of fucking sense. I think that he's one of the guys that really I have trouble with the translations on them or maybe they're just enigmatic and weird. I don't know. But then he draws so much inspiration from the fans and everything like that.
And I mean, we've been in a room with this guy for the press conference, and asking him questions and stuff like that. And he's very comfortable on the mic.
Great talker.
Yeah, 9.
Okay, yeah, go 9.
Work.
The work's great. He's been able to adapt amidst his injuries, amidst his age, amidst the growing amounts of obstacles in front of him. He's been able to adapt his work, his diminished athleticism over the years, and he's still able to put on classic performances. Where do we go with Jericho?
Let's see. So for Jericho, we did 8 on
I'd
the
go
work.
8.5 for Tanahashi.
That's exactly what I was thinking, 8.5. And then It Factor. I think we got to go pretty high here.
I think you have to go high, but I also think that there is a diminishing of his it factor as well. Like, there is the sense that, like, Tanahashi is an aging star. Very similar, a lot of people over the years have made allusions to him and Cena, Cena in 2020 is still a star. When he shows up, it matters. Everyone knows him. He's a big, big deal. But you also kind of know that he's on the downside. And I think that that's how it is with Tanahashi. So, I mean, with that being the case, where would you go with Tanahashi?
8.5.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
So that brings Tanahashi to 34.5. So right under Hiromu Takahashi, who we had 36.5, and right above Jericho, his Wrestle Kingdom opponent, who we have at 32.5. So next up, we have Hiroyoshi Tenzan, one of our New Japan dads, and obviously Tenzan, another guy who's had a great long career, and this scale would look a lot different if we were looking at his peak, but we're looking at today. So the look for Tenzan.
4.
Yeah, he's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, not just from his mobility, but also his age.
Just his body. I mean,
his body. I would go 4.
Yeah. Mike.
I think I always enjoyed Tenzan.
Yeah, I think he cuts very compelling promos based off the translations.
And he's hilarious.
He's very emotional too.
Very.
Yeah, and I feel like even now he still kind of captures the audience attention when he's speaking.
I go 7. Yeah.
His work, due to the injuries and just the age, it's rough.
I think it's lower than just adequate. I would go 4 on the work.
Yeah.
At 2020, that's where I think he is. I don't think he's far off from retirement, honestly.
And then last but not least, It Factor.
That's a tough one because it's like, I think a lot of the things that we mentioned before are playing into it, but there is still the sense of the nostalgia with him and the fan respect and everything. I wouldn't go super low, but I don't think it's super high either. I'm somewhere between 5 and 6. I don't know.
I initially said 5, and I was thinking 6, 5.5.
That's fine, yeah.
All right, so that puts Tenzan at 20.5.
All right.
So next up, another guy that I was kind of questionable about is Jado.
Oof. It's kind of hard to even gauge Jado because we've seen so little of him, and when we have, it's been on U.S. shows, it's been on minor shows, Road 2s. It's like I wonder how many people that are listening have actually even seen him wrestle in the last couple of years.
And I think he wrestles obviously way less than Gato does.
Yeah.
Should we skip him?
No, we can do him real quick.
Okay, look. 3.
Yeah, 3's fine. I'll go 4.
4?
I don't think Jado looks that bad.
Okay. Mic work.
Jado's pretty good on the mic, but we haven't heard him cut too many promos. I don't know. I'd go solid 5.
Okay. Work.
The work's
3.
not. I wouldn't go so low. I think he's a 4.
Okay.
But I think a lot of that. Jado was a fantastic worker at one point, but after the injuries and everything, I don't know.
Yeah. And then It Factor.
4.
All right, so that puts Jado at 17, and that is the lowest, 1 point behind Doki.
Oh, he's lower than Doki?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, next up, breathe with him, the Switchblade, Jay Whiteo.
This is going to be a controversial one.
You think?
Well, not for us, but for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look.
I think he's got a great look.
Jay's shredded.
Jay's fucking shredded. And him not being bulky, but also being shredded at the same time, it's kind of like sniveling. It really fits into the type of work he does, the type of character he is. People hate it. I think his look is fantastic. I think he's got one of the best looks in New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially, and I think his gear also matches. Where are you?
I don't know. I'm like
8'5".
Yeah.
I'm 8'5".
I was struggling at 8 or 9, but yeah, I think 8'5" works there. Mic work, dude. Jay White is phenomenal on the freaking mic. He is really one of the best promo guys in wrestling today.
Jay's one of the best. He's one of the absolute best. Where did we go on Jericho?
On Jericho, we went 9. Tanahashi, we went 9.
I would go 9.
Yeah.
I'd go 9. I think he's in some ways those guys might be better, but they're different. Like they're very different, and he cuts a very different kind of promo than anybody else. But not only that, but like he can really garner serious heat at the end of shows. He's shown himself to be so competent on the mic in so many different ways.
He owns that Switchblade persona. Like at first, I think it was a little bit rocky, but now like he's 100% in that character, in that guy, and yeah, his promos are great.
Where are we going to work?
So worked. And obviously, if we had other people on, I think there'd be a debate here. But me and you, I think we're pretty big fans of this work. Yes, he does have the Bullet Club shenanigans and the cheating, but overall, I think Jay White is a great professional wrestler who has great professional wrestling matches.
But what about the lazy nights? What about the shenanigans-filled matches? I'm questionable. What were you thinking initially? Like, because I think if we put him at his highest of heights, like if we were just gauging off of the great matches, you could go pretty high.
Yeah.
But I think that you have to split the difference.
And this year hasn't been so great.
This year has not been great. And anyone who tells you different is a fucking shill. I'm like 7.5.
Okay, 7.5.
I'm like 7.5 on it. Like when he's at his best, you could be like, holy shit. You could go higher, 8, maybe even 8.5, 9. But then like there are nights where he puts in 6s, bro. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we've seen you. We know how good you are.
Make us look like
idiots.
You make
us look like idiots. So 7.5 for you, Jay.
All right. Last but not least, the it factor. I think Switchblade's a star. I think he's very charismatic. I think
he's charismatic while also lacking charisma in certain areas. Like he has wrestling charisma, but he doesn't have transcendent charisma. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like he's not Hulk Hogan or The Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 7.5. Or you want to go?
I'd go 8. I think 8 is fine.
Okay, I can
in a vacuum. I mean, I don't know if I was like judging against all the world, I would do that, but maybe in New Japan, I think that's fine.
Okay, so that puts Switchblade at 33.
It's pretty high.
So that's
pretty good.
He just beat out Jericho. Jericho's 32.5.
Oh, people are gonna be mad about that. Maybe we should have lowered him.
No, I think that's pretty fair for him.
Okay.
I think the one area that people could or probably question is the work and might want to go lower on the work.
I think you could go lower on the
it factor.
On the it factor too. It just depends on your perspective. Again, this is just our opinion.
And also, this scale, also, it's not perfect. You have to look at drawing ability, merchandise, commitments to the company. There's a lot of stuff you can look at that's not in this scale.
So let's keep it rolling.
Next up, Jeff Cobb.
Nice. So, Jeff Cobb, as far as look?
Yes.
I think Jeff Cobb fits the classical look of, like, he reminds me of, like, a Terry Gordy or a, I don't know, like, I forget all these guys' names. Like, he fits that classic gaijin role, like that, like Dr. Death, Steve Williams or something like that. And, or the guy from freaking UWF. Gary Albright. Like, he reminds me of those guys. But at the same time, I think he could, I don't know. What do you think about his look?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's another one of these Haas guys who...
Exactly.
He's kind of short. I'm like 7.5.
I'd go 7.
7, okay.
I think that there's room for improvement as far as his look, because he's not super imposing, but he's very athletic and muscular, and like he looks like a hoss, and he fits in great in Japan. But there's like kind of something missing, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I think part of the fact that he is kind of a little bit pudgy in the stomach, he's rotund, works against him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
mic work.
I don't think Jeff Cobb's good on the mic at all.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe like 4.
My favorite time of Jeff Cobb's career was when he was Matanza Cueto. And he never said anything. I think he's good on like interviews and podcasts and things like that. He's a smart guy, but I don't think he's a good promo. I don't know, I'd go 4.
Okay. Work.
His work's good, but I wouldn't, in Japan, I think it's not great.
Yeah, I don't think he's kind of hit the heights that he hits on the U.S. indie scenes that he does in Japan.
He's a hoss who works in indie style, and it doesn't translate so well to Puro. He's adapted and grown and gotten better, but like, you know, you have this expectation of what he looks like doesn't match how he works.
7?
Yeah.
And last but not least, it factor.
I think he's lacking it factor, at least in this context.
Yeah, in the New Japan.
In the New Japan context, I don't know. I would go 6, maybe 6.5. I don't know.
Okay, I was thinking 5.
Yeah, okay, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
So that gives Jeff Cobb at 23.
Jeez.
Next up, the current IWGP US champion, the Deaf Rider, Jon Moxley.
Well, I think he's got a fantastic look.
Yeah.
I prefer when he wears the wrestling gear.
Same here.
But either way, like, he just comes off like a fucking stud in Japan. And
I think he has put on muscle. Compared to his previous looks.
Ever since he came back from the elbow injury in WWE, he's just looked way better. He's an imposing guy, very, very physical. I think he's got a fantastic look. I don't think it's the best look in the world, but it's really good. I don't know.
8?
8, yep.
All right, mic work. Mox is great on the mic. Great promo guy.
I don't know. How high do you want to go with Mox on mic? Because I'll defer to you. I think you've heard more of his stuff. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah. I think we can go 9.
9. Yeah, I think he's in the upper echelon. I think he's not quite at the tip top, you know?
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke, but who's the guy that sounds like The Rock in NWA? He's not quite Eli Drake, but he's up there.
Yeah, Eli Drake.
He's not quite Eli Drake, but he's up there. No, but yeah, he's fantastic.
All right, Mox's work.
I think Mox's work is great, but it's a little bit lower tier than other guys.
8?
I'd go 8.
And then last but not least, it factor. I think he has it.
He has it. I'd go somewhere between 9 and 10.
Oh, 9 and 10?
I don't know. It's up there. It's really, really high up there. Like, he's a gaijin who's just fucking over. I think a lot of it
he got over very quickly in New Japan.
I could go, 8.5.
Yeah, let's go 8.5. So that puts Jon Moxley at 33.5.
Is he leading?
No, Hiromu's still leading. 36.5.
Man, we might have overrated.
Nah.
We love Hiromu. But that's just barely above Switchblade, right?
Yeah, Switchblade's at 33.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
And just a little bit above Jericho, who's 32.5.
Well, he beat that man, so it makes sense. Although Jericho was preparing for a man with one eye, and this guy was...
He trained 3 months for a man with one eye. And this man came out here with 2 eyes. I don't know what kind of committee they got in AEW, but Jericho was robbed.
Oh, my God. All right, next one.
Next, Juice Robinson.
All right, Juice. Oh, God.
And it's Juice today. And we've been talking about the physique.
Juice today is not Juice from a year ago. What the fuck happened? What's going on with Juice, bro?
I don't know, man. But
bro, I fucking love Juice. Juice is like one of my top favorite guys in New Japan, and I'm like pained to do this one right now.
He's thick with 2 C's, man.
Okay, right now, look.
5, 6.
I was about to say 6, and then I heard you do an F, and then I was like, bro.
I can go 6.
I think he's a 5.5 right now.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's got terrible gear. I think he's got terrible hair, and I think he let his body go.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to buy into him as anything other than
tag guy.
A tag guy or a sideshow act right now. He does not look like. Where the fuck is Juice Robinson?
I don't know. Somebody find him, please.
I love this guy. Like,
I know we love Juice.
We love Juice.
He's so nice. You know, we talked to him in New Orleans. He did a drop for the show.
Well, I made him mad during the press conference, but other than that,
yeah, that's right.
other than that, I love Juice.
Mic work.
Okay, so that's another. Okay, so here's the thing. When Juice is on, Juice is one of the best mic guys in the industry, but it's been a long time since I've kind of seen that from him. Now, part of it is because he's in a tag team role, and I think in the tag team role, him and Dave Finlay are just kind of goofy together, which is fine, but it's, I don't know. I'm not going to hold it too much against him. I'd still say he's up there. I don't know. I'd go as high as 8. I think he's a very good promo, but he's not.
I'm comfortable with 8.
He's not showing it right now, and so we're kind of going to give him some leeway. We took a lot away for the look. Let's give him some for the promo.
Okay.
Because I think for the rest of it, we're gonna
work
7.
That's what I was thinking.
And Juice, I could go 6.5 on you right now, bud. I don't know what's going on, bro.
It factor.
Oh, right now?
Right now, today.
Bro, right now, anyone that I showed like Juice, they would think like,
who's this clown?
If I showed them Juice a year before, they would have been like, oh, he's gonna be world champion. If I show them Juice right now, they're gonna be like, who the fuck is that?
Who's this jobber?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll be nice and I'll say 7. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings Juice to 27.5.
That's still pretty generous.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
You know, I just want to say, me and Jeremy are not like holding up signs where we're like showing each other what the ratings we're giving each other. Like,
no.
These are happening concurrently.
Right.
This is fucking audio. This is audio magic right now.
And even though I had the idea to do this, like I did not think about my scores ahead of time.
I haven't thought about them at all.
So these are fresh
I
off the dome.
haven't discussed this in my mind. Bro, I've been busy at work. Yeah. Do you know how crazy it is working in the financial industry and like the market dropped? I thought the market was gonna close today. Like that's how low it's dropped. It's crazy.
All right. Next up, let's keep it rolling. Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker.
10. All right. So who we got after that? Okay, Okada. Look.
I think he has a great look.
I think Okada's got one of the absolute best looks in all of wrestling. If we're not 10, we're going. I think we're somewhere between 9 and 9.5. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you.
I think we can go 9.5.
I would agree with that.
I feel like he could bulk up a little bit,
or even cut a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I think, but as far as his presence, his gear, his facials, his look, his hair, how he carries himself outside of the ring. The height. I mean, my girlfriend put it best. He's hot. I think he's hot. Like fuck it. Like
9.5.
9.5. Okada's the fucking man.
Mic work's great.
9.
Yeah.
Okada. Well, am I overestimating him on the mic?
No, I think he's great.
But is he a classically good promo? He's good at cutting those final promos, but is he classically good promo? I'm starting to think about it. I'm questioning that 9. I don't know if he's a 9.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of his backstage.
We gave Mox a 9.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Mox level. Now, like literally off, I go 8.5 on Okada.
All right. Just because of the language barrier, I'm willing to go down 8.5. But I think Okada.
Okay, now that you said the language barrier, maybe we don't know shit. Maybe he's a better promo than we realize. Maybe he is a 9. I don't know.
Oh, let's go 8.5.
8.5's fine.
Okay, work 10.
10. Okada's one of the all-time greatest workers that has ever lived. He's going to surpass Mitsuharu Misawa as the best Japanese wrestler that's ever lived. He's up there with Kobashi.
It factor. How high are we going?
Very high.
10?
Very high. I wouldn't go quite 10.
9.5?
I'd go 9.5.
Okay, that brings Okada to 37.5.
He's the highest.
So he's now the highest, surpassing Hiromu.
It's going to be hard for any of y'all fuckers to beat that man. There's a reason he's the ace.
Next up, Kenta.
All right. So let's talk about his look.
Obviously not 2009 Kenta.
He was always kind of skinny fat, though.
I feel like he was a little bit better shape than he is.
He was in better shape, but he was never shredded. He looked like a Japanese indie guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. I think, here's this weird thing. When I was in shop class growing up, and we would make like our little gumball machines or like whatever, I always loved to take like when they like gave us options of how to decorate it, I would always do the splatter. I would always like take my brush and I'd splatter. I'd always make it black and splatter white paint all over it, just like his gear.
Yeah.
Because fucking Bret Hart used to have splatter gear as well. And I was like, that's fucking raw. So like, I really like his splatter gear, but like, as far as his look, I like that he changed his hair.
Yeah, I like the hair.
I like the gear. His body's not great, but it's not terrible. And also
7?
Yeah, we can go 7 on Kenta. It's fine.
Mic work, I think.
Kenta's one of the best mic guys in Japan.
Yeah, he's been killing it, especially in this New Japan run.
Yeah, what do you think?
8.
Yeah, that's fine. He's been really good. You know, it's flu season and Bushi's been spitting out water, and he shouldn't be doing that.
Dude, I have so many Kenta memes saved in my phone just based off of his backstage promos and the stuff that he says, and even like his post-match promos too. The show closing promos have been pretty good. So yeah, I'm good with 8 on the mic, and now we're on to work.
I'm gonna make a declaration right now. No more strawberry Ritas for me, because they taste too good and they're too high in alcohol content. I'd rather just stick to beer. It's easier, sip on it longer. I don't know how James Boyd just fucking wrecks these things.
Work for Kenta.
I think his work's great. I know some people are really low on it, but I think his work is great. Even if I think there's a difference between having great matches consistently and having great work. I think his work is awesome. I think his matches could be better, but he's had some really great matches since he's been to New Japan.
Yeah.
The match with Tanahashi, the match with Ospreay, the match with Okada, the match with Ishii, the match with Naito, even though I wasn't super... I didn't love that match, but a lot of his matches have been really good.
I'm like 7.5 to 8.
7.5.
Okay.
Right now. That's where I'd go.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd probably be higher on the work had that Naito match not happened.
It factor. I mean, he's a legend in Japan. I think there's some it factor there. Also, he's kind of on.
There's a mystique.
Yeah. Also, he's not on the rise. He's kind of, he's getting older.
I'm gonna kind of agree with you on whatever you say here.
Let's see here.
Unless you're wrong, then I'm gonna override you.
Do you think 8's too high?
A little bit, yeah.
7.5?
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so that brings Kenta to 30.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Kota Ibushi, Golden Star.
Oh, he might be Okada. Because when you do something like this and you like take everything in a vacuum and you realize like maybe we're undervaluing how good Kota Ibushi is. So let's talk about look.
Dude, I think amazing look, super shredded, super jacked. He's got good height. Gear's raw.
I'm 9'5" on Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
The only thing about Kota Ibushi is he's kind of looked the same for a very long time. There's nothing wrong with that. But he was kind of slotted lower when he looked this way. And even though in the storyline they've elevated him, they kind of still haven't. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it feels like his look hasn't progressed with this progression of who he is. Like his look now, as far as his body, I mean, like he's a freak of nature. Like he's incredible. But I think he could maybe, I don't want to say use a new coat of paint, but guys have big matches and you look at like Okada has changed his gear. Hiromu has changed his gear. But like Ibushi's not that different from 2015. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think there needs to be a little bit of a change. But other than that, I'd say 9.5.
Mic work. This is going to be interesting.
I don't think he's good on the mic.
Yeah.
I don't think Ibushi is good on the mic, like hardly at all.
I don't think he wants to be either.
He says a lot of fucking really weird shit. A lot of weird. This is his worst. Now, here's the thing. I still kind of enjoy Ibushi on the mic.
Yeah.
And I think he is.
And also, like in the show closing promos,
he's good at that. Like he's good at some stuff, but he's I don't know, bro. He's an enigma.
7?
I don't know. I think he's a little better than that, but I don't know. Let's go 7.5. I don't know.
Yes.
Fuck, I don't know.
So let's go 7.5.
Because he's so fucking weird on the mic.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Work.
10.
Yeah. Easy.
Ibushi's one of the greatest people in New Japan.
All right. It factor.
It's high. It's really, really, really high. Anyone that sees him, but like he's got so much charisma. But is it like
transcending Hulk Hogan charisma?
Right.
9?
I'd go 9.
That puts him at 36.
He's beneath Okada still, just like he always will be.
Yeah.
God,
we should be able to do this one pretty quickly. Mikey Nichols.
Oh shit. All right. Look. Well, his look's not bad, but it's not great. I don't know. 5.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
I'm good with 5. No, actually, no. I think 6.
He's better than a 5. I was just being a jerk, and then you said okay.
Actually, well, he's pretty jacked.
He's got a good body.
Yeah,
but he's so blah. 6.
6.5.
No, 6.
6. Okay.
He's so blah, bro. He's got a bad haircut too. He's got an ugly face. I don't know. He's fine. He has 6.
Mike.
I don't know. Have you even listened on the mic?
I mean, I've heard very little promos.
I heard him do promos in like Minreg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
5.
Yeah, we'll go 5.
Work.
6.
6. Yeah. It factor. 5.
4. I'm going 4. He does not have it factor.
All right, so he gets a score of 21. Next up, the King, Minoru Suzuki.
Okay, awesome. So Minoru Suzuki, as far as look, I think he's got one of the best looks out there. I don't know, 8.5, 9.
I was thinking like 8.
Okay, 8's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, it's not just his body. Like, he's fucking old.
Right.
But,
which I think 8's good for his age.
But he looks menacing. Like,
yeah.
He's a fucking, he's an animal. Like, he's one of the most believable people in all of wrestling.
I can 8.5. I can bump it up.
He is so believable. Like,
yeah.
It's scary. And, like, not only that, but, like, he's spending a lot of money on whoever his hairdresser is to do these fucking squigglies in his lines. So, you got to give him that half point for that.
Okay. Mic work. Suzuki is freaking awesome on the mic.
Suzuki's one of the best guys in New Japan on the mic.
9?
Yeah. Talking about how he wants to run people over with his car and shit.
Work.
His work's
great.
Incredible. 8.5.
Yeah. It factor.
He's got it factor in spades, but I don't know. 8.5.
Okay. So final score 34.5 for Minoru Suzuki.
That's strong. That's high. Is he higher than Tanahashi right now?
No, they're tied.
That sounds about right to me.
And he's higher than Jericho.
That also sounds about right to me. If
All
Jericho would come here and put in some work, then maybe we'd
Be higher, yeah.
be higher. I don't know.
Next up, the Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles.
Okay.
Look, I mean, like I feel like he
He's
could be
tiny.
Yeah, I feel like he can be built a little bit more. But he's a junior also.
I don't like the fucking I don't like the scarf or the
the bandana.
The bandana. But it's his gimmick, so it's kind of. But I think it kind of sucks.
Yeah, but I think that's more on the it factor side.
He's changed his gear though, and he's upgraded things a bit. I don't know where
7.
I wouldn't go on his look.
Yeah.
Hell no. At the highest, I'd go 6'5", but I think it's
6.
I think it's probably a 6.
Yeah, okay, 6 flat. Mic work.
I haven't really heard his mic work.
Yeah, he's had a limited. It's mainly been like behind the scenes stuff. I say let's go 6.
That's fine. I've talked to him. He's a well-spoken man.
Work. He's awesome worker.
He's a great worker.
I'm like
8.
Yeah. It factor.
Well, there's definitely something there. He's gotten over. There's something there. I don't know.
7.5.
Yeah, I'd go 7.5.
Based off today. So 27.5.
Pretty good.
Next up, Ryu Lee, aka Dragon Lee.
Who is? Oh yeah, I was gonna say who's really? Oh yeah, Dragon Lee. Okay. I mean the guy's body is just incredible.
Yeah, he's shredded.
His gear is fucking cool.
Also, the height probably what is the main thing that hurt him here. But again, he's a junior.
Ryu Lee, I would go
8.
Yeah, I'd go probably 8.
Mike.
I don't know how good he is on the mic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is a hard one because this is like a Mexican. We don't always get the translation.
Whoa! What do you mean by?
I must mean
what
like.
do you mean by you people?
No, obviously it's a little bit different translation here.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Mexican. I don't know. I haven't really heard his promos too much. Like, to be honest, I guess I have. He's done post show stuff, and he's talked
7.
I don't know. Let's go 6'5". I don't think it's that good.
Okay.
I think if I can't really remember it, and I've heard him do a lot of post matches and stuff, like I think it's just okay.
Work.
Well, his work's incredible.
9.5.
Yeah, let's go 9.5. He's one of the top guys.
It factor. I think he definitely has it.
He's up there, but I wouldn't go tip top. I think it's high.
8.
Yeah, maybe 8.5. I don't know. What do you
I
think?
can go 8.5. So that brings 32.5.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I love this because I'm just wondering like what people who are out there are like listening or like thinking like
Yeah.
like they're probably like either like these guys are good or they're like fuck these guys. They just ruined really.
Yeah. Please give us your feedback. Tweet us, comment on the Reddit thread what you think about our scores. I
Dude,
will
send us your scores, bro. Like,
Yeah.
We'll pretend like we read them, you know?
I'll read them.
Jeremy will read them. And he'll distill that and then, explain it to me.
And I will share out this spreadsheet of our scores.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, we'd really like to see your scores, honestly.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So next up, the coach, Risuke Gucci.
When you said the coach, I was like, Jonathan Coach. I was like, he's not in New Japan. Taguchi,
gosh.
so his look, so very kind of bad, but also kind of goofy. Like he's a comedy character.
But
So,
he's kind of thick for a junior.
yeah, I mean,
He needs to step on that scale. I want to see them numbers.
and his teeth are bad, and he's losing, like, he's getting older. I don't know. I'd go 6'5".
Yeah. Mic work. He's pretty funny.
I think Taguchi's pretty good on the mic. I don't know, 7.5.
Okay.
7.5. I don't know.
Yeah, goes to that. Work. Obviously, we get big match Taguchi, and then other times he's in multi-man tags, just kind of doing his thing.
7, 6.5.
I think 7 flat is fine. It factor. I mean,
he gets over though as
right.
a comedy act. It's
he
kind of like
has that comedy charisma. People really dig him and are into him.
7.
Yeah. So that puts him at 28. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good, actually.
Next up, the Cold Skull Sonata.
I feel like this one's going to be controversial.
Yeah. So let's talk about his look. I think he has great height. I do feel like he could be more shredded.
What? He's so shredded.
Is he?
Do we have a picture of Seiya Sanada in our head? Let me Google.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not having a good... I mean, he's in great shape, but I don't know. I feel like he could be a little bit more shredded, maybe.
I guess you're right. Like, I've always thought of Sanada as, like, being, like, very, very muscular.
Like, he has good build, but he's not, like, superly jacked or superly shredded. Like,
I don't know.
I think he's up. I think it's not a low score, but I wouldn't go.
I just
super
know if
high.
I had a body like this, I'd be fucking.
Oh, I'd be happy with a body like that.
No, I'm just joking. But
8?
now that you like pointed out, and I'm looking online, I guess I'd never really, because he doesn't look like that anymore, does he?
No, yeah, that's an old pick. Yeah,
I'm thinking of like 2017, 2016, like Seiya Sanada, and I'm like,
we're
this
talking
man's jacked.
2020.
You know, Jeremy, you've really opened my eyes. Like, he's I don't know what's funny about that. It's not that funny, but yeah, no, you have opened my eyes. Like,
I think 8's like the highest I'd be willing to go.
I don't think we should go 8.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Like, his look. Well, okay, he's got the bad beard and the bad hair, but the cool gear, and he's got a. I wouldn't say mediocre. It's above average, but it's not like in the upper echelon.
7.5.
Yeah.
Okay, his mic work.
I feel like we'd be dishonoring Bret Hart Scale if we went higher.
7 or mic skills.
I don't want to say anything. I don't know.
I don't think he's that good on the mic.
I heard him in a press conference, and I thought he was pretty good, but we went so long without hearing him on the mic that I wasn't even sure if he was good on the mic at all or not.
There has to be a reason for that. And even when he does, even sometimes when they give him the mic, like post-match shows, like he chooses not to.
There's been times where he has cut post-match promos and really got
like the whole like the light thing he did with like the phones or whatever.
6.5.
Yeah,
we're just kind of shooting in the dark here.
Yeah, work.
His work's great. I would go
8. Yeah, it factor.
That's a tough one. It depends on who you ask. Some people think that he's a charisma that he sucks up all the charisma in the room. There's some people that think he's a star. I know when we saw him at the G1 press conference in Dallas, like him and Evil were just so fucking over. I was like, I guess I didn't know. And he gets good crowd reactions, but then at other times it just seems like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
7.5.
I don't know. What do you think? Like, what's in your heart?
7.5.
All right, 7.5.
So that puts Sonata at 29.5.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So next up, the strongest lariat, Satoshi Kojima.
He's got the strongest
10,
lariat.
10.
All right,
look.
No, he gonna get this work right now. Your boy about to get this work.
Look,
I was honest with you about fucking Headbanger. We're about to be honest about Kojima.
Okay.
In 2020, this is not 2001 anymore.
I know. Okay. Look. I think he's still in good shape for his age.
He's a 5.
No. 5?
How high did you want to go on Kojima?
Dude, he's still in pretty good. He's jacked.
How high did you want to go on Kojima?
I was thinking like 7.
I'll give you a 6, I guess. I don't know. Bro, he looks old, bro.
Yeah,
He looks good for his age. We'll go 6.
Okay.
I'm not going 7 on fucking Kojima.
5,
you
6.
gotta be out of your damn
Dude,
mind.
he's jacked. Mike.
I think he's really good on the mic. I think Kojima's hilarious on the mic.
Yeah.
I think all those third generation guys were like pretty good on the mic, actually.
Let's see here. 7.5.
Yeah, that's fine. He's really he says ridiculous fucking hilarious stuff on the mic. And also like we're kind of like gauging off of like the promo style of New Japan, not necessarily like
WWE style.
yeah, it's not the same.
Work.
His work's is still really good for his age. I wouldn't go super high.
7.5.
Yeah, I'd go 7.5. Well, I don't know. 7. I would go 7. I think that's too high.
Fine. 7. It Factor.
I don't know, 6.
6.5.
All right. So what do you end up with?
27. Oh my gosh. Next up, the Dragon, Shingo Takagi.
Oh shit.
Look.
Okay, his look is great, but it also could be better.
Yeah. And the height, I think, kills him, especially now that he's classified as a heavyweight. I think the height hurts him.
But he's so believable.
He is.
He looks like a fucking, even though he's small, he looks like a fucking juggernaut.
He's like a little tank.
Yeah, and he looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, he's like the anti-Bushi. Like, Bushi needs to have all that drip to cover up, but like Shingo just kind of comes out the same way no matter what fucking show it is. It doesn't matter if it's Road 2, just Road 2, just New Japan Road, or whether it's Wrestle Kingdom. He's coming out the same way because he's going to fuck you up. Like, I don't know. What do you think on his look?
8.
It's a little too, I go 7.5.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
He's a little fluffy.
Mike. I think he's awesome on the mic.
I really haven't checked out his promos too much, to be honest with you.
I think like a lot of his like post-match comment stuff is really good.
I'll defer to whatever you think.
I would go 8.
All right. I really don't know. I haven't really checked out his post-match stuff too much.
Yeah. I think his post-match stuff's really good. And like his show closing stuff has been good. Yeah, I'm going 8. Work.
Well, his work is some of the best in the entire world.
10?
So I'll leave it up to you.
I'm either 9.5 or 10.
Whatever you think. I'm okay with either because I'm like, it's fucking Shingo.
Let's go 10. Screw it. It Factor.
He's got it factor in fucking spades.
9.
Yep. Let's do it.
That puts Shingo at 34.5. Real good score there.
Does that put him higher than Ibushi?
Let's see here. Ibushi was 36.
Oh, okay. So just beneath him, but he's like in the top level.
He's tied with Suzuki. Same exact score.
Holy shit. Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And Shingo's on the rise. And
we're doing a good job, Jeremy.
I think we are. All right, so
we're at 256, by the way.
Yeah. We got, let's see.
Fuck it. It doesn't matter because like next week we might not have anything to talk about. So let's just do it. I don't care.
All right, let's run it. We're giving you people this content. Y'all thought you were going to get short episodes? Nah. Kidding you with that long.
I always hit him with the long.
Oh my God.
I always hit him with the medium. Average size is good.
Oh my God.
That Road 2.
Next up.
It's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's all right.
It's that Cork and Hall.
Give him that Cork and Hall.
Show.
Oh God! All right, Show. So look, Show's got an incredible look. It's just
he jacked, shredded. I mean, I think the height kills him, but again, he's a junior.
I'd go 8.
Yeah. Mike.
I don't think Show's good on the mic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
From what I think he's sort of a charisma suck a little bit. Like I think that's one of the big things holding him back. Anytime I've heard him on the mic, I haven't thought I have listened to a lot of his post match stuff. It's not bad, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's usually Rocky talking, and then him and like Show.
I feel like Yo's better than him.
Or I'm sorry, him and Yo. They're just like yeah, Yo's better on the mic than him, or at least from what I can infer.
Right. You want to go 5?
That's fine.
Work.
His work's fantastic. I'd go
8.
Somewhere between 7.5 and 8. Yeah, maybe 8.
I'm going to go 8. It Factor.
I think he's a star. I don't know. What do you think? 7.5? 8? What do you think?
I think as of today, I think I'd go 7.5.
All right, I'll agree with you.
I mean, if we get a Best of Super Juniors, I think that could change. That could increase the score. But yeah, I'm good with 7.5. So his final score is 28.5.
All right, bro.
Next up, we have Taichi.
Taichi Ishikawa. Okay. Look, I don't think he's got the best look,
Nah, he's kind of thick.
but at the same time, he's such a good sniveling heel. He really looks the part of what he is. I'd go like
7.
I'd go like 7. Yeah, I was thinking. I thought it was gonna be too high. I didn't want to say that, but I'd go 7.
Yeah. Mike.
His mic works good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I don't know, 8.5. I think, or maybe 8.
Yeah, I think that's flat
he's got
8.
really. No, he's really good. Though.
I think he is really good, but I don't know. I think 8 is fair.
That's fine. That's fair.
Work.
His work has gotten good, bro. It's gotten good. I'm saying bro a lot. What do you think?
Is 8 too high?
Nope. Let's go fucking 8.
All right.
What did we give Jay White for his work?
Let's see. Jay White, we gave 7.5 for the work.
Yeah, fuck you, Jay White. We're giving Taichi a higher work level than both Jay White and Juice Robinson. Fuck it.
8 factor.
No. No.
He's got Miho Abe though.
Yeah, he's lacking in that area. That's where he's really still, even though he has character charisma,
But not superstar charisma.
not superstar.
Like he's
charisma.
never going to be IWGP champion.
Never. It's never happening.
6?
I'd go a little higher than that, but I'd go like
7?
7. Yeah,
Okay, I'm fine with that. So wow, that brings Taichi to 30.
that's a good score.
Yeah, that's real good. Next up, the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bone Soldier,
Nah.
Captain New Japan. Did you see Captain
Stardom? I did. I watched. That was on the No People Gate show.
All right. So where are we with Taiji Ishimori? Because I think Taiji Ishimori in 2020 is a lot different than 2018.
So let's start with look. So I mean, the guy's always shredded.
He's got for a junior, he's one of the best looking juniors.
Right. I mean, he is super short.
But it's
But
weird.
we are.
because
It's junior.
He's
yeah.
He's got an incredible look for a junior. I don't know. I'd go 8.
Yeah.
If we went 8 for show, I'd go about 8 for Taiji Ishimori.
Mike.
I don't know if his mic works that great. I don't think it is necessarily. It's okay.
I think it's okay. This one goes 6.
Yeah, it's fine.
Work.
Well, his work's fantastic.
8.5.
Yeah.
And then It Factor.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a time where he was
Dude,
head of this division.
When he debuted as the Bone Soldier, I was like, dude, this is the future of the division. Keep the belt on him for a year.
Even when he had the belt, but ever since he lost the belt, it's kind of like he took a back roll.
And then he's had those injuries.
Yep. I don't know. What do you think?
As of today, right now, I think maybe like 7, 7.5.
I'd go 7.
7. Okay. So that puts him at 29.5. Still pretty good.
All right.
Up next, Tama Tonga.
Ain't nobody realer than
And Gorilla. Now, here's the thing. I think Tama Tonga probably has a good body, but he's got the Roman Reigns going on. He's all covered up.
He literally looks like Roman Reigns.
So yeah, I think he's gonna hit with that Roman Reigns rule.
Yeah, it's gonna bring him down. I don't know.
7.
6.5.
Yeah, I can go 6.5. Mike. Tama is awesome on the mic.
Tama's fucking great on the mic. 8.
Work.
Chief.
5? Is that too low?
It's a little low. Let's go 6.
Okay.
You're our boy, Tama.
Yeah. It Factor.
He's got star appeal, but we've seen it only go so far with him. Maybe 6.5.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, so that puts Tama Tonga at 27. So that's a pretty good score for Tama Tonga there. So next up we have his brother, Tangaloa, tag team partner.
All right, so take everything with Tama and drop it by like 1 or 2 points in each category, and we've got his score. So he's going to end up with like 24.
So
I'm going to tell you right now, I think without even calculating in my head, he's going to end up with 24.
Okay.
Let's see where he ends up.
Look.
He's got a pretty good look.
He's got the Roman Reigns rule.
5.5.
Okay. Mike.
I don't think he's good.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah.
I'd go 4.5.
Okay. Work. 5.
His work's okay. It's not great. Yeah, maybe 5.5.
Okay.
Let's do some halves here for this guy.
Halfsies.
He's from WWE. He was at NXT.
He was on the PC.
He's Camacho.
It Factor.
6. 5.5. 5.
5.
Maybe lower. Maybe we should be lower. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think he
doesn't have a lot of star potential.
Without Tama Tonga.
God, I think I overestimated him. I think he's going to end up with a lower score than what I gave him. I don't know. Let's go 4.5.
Okay. That puts him at 20.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. All right. We're almost towards the end of the roster here. We're at the double champion, Tetsuya Naito.
Another controversial one.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Because there's so many different like types of fans. You got your LIJ fans, your New Japan, like your classic Puro fans, your diehard Naito fans, your Fed Defense squatters, people that just literally hate Naito. Like, it's hard to say. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's start with the look. I think Naito, I think he could be more shredded.
He's been in better shape in the past.
Yeah.
He still hasn't, like, when he comes out, I mean, like, his gears never really change, but it's the classic LIJ look. It's really his entrance that's awesome, but his hair's kind of bad. His body's kind of bad. He's got tape all over his fucking knees.
He's kind of a little bit short, would you say?
No.
Or is he?
No. I mean, I don't know. As far as look, I wouldn't go too harsh on him, but I wouldn't go high on him.
7.5? That too high? 7? Okay.
I'd go 7, maybe. 7.
Mike, I think he's great on the mic.
He's fantastic on the mic. 8.
9, 8.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's like he's great on the mic, but what is? Yeah, you should probably go higher. Maybe 8.5.
Okay.
Or is that too high?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Work. It's questionable.
It depends on what day you're talking about.
Right.
You know, are we talking about January 4th or January 5th? Are we talking about him in the main event against Okada, or are we talking about him in the semi-main event against Jay White?
We're talking him versus Kenta?
We're talking about him versus Kenta, or are we talking about him against Kenny Omega? Like, what are we talking about? You know, it's inconsistent, bro. It's anyone who wants to claim that it's not is lying to themselves.
7.5.
Yeah, I think that is that's the fairest thing we could probably say, 7.5 in 2020. Now, does that mean he can't pull out a 5-star classic when needed? He absolutely can. Did I think that? It's funny because we're in a group chat and I said that I thought that him and
Okada was better than Okada and Ibushi.
No, I would never say that. God. No, I said I thought that him and Hiromu was probably going to be like a 4 3/4 star match. And then James jumped in and he was like, change probably to maybe or could be. But I don't think it was going to be a probably or it could be. I think it was probably going to be.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. But I think that like a lot of people have gotten tired of like getting disappointed by the performances. And I think they forget about the Okada performance. Yeah. I think like it's like, what have you done for me lately is like a big theme. And, you know, for a lot of people, You know, you think about his most recent big performances, you think about his G1, and, you know, the bad outweighs the good. So, yeah, 7.5 sounds about right.
Okay, and his it factor, clearly.
One of the most charismatic guys in the world.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because, like, people who don't necessarily see him all the time think differently about that. I know that there's a lot of people that had problems with him ranking so high in he ranked really high in most charismatic in the Observer Awards, right?
I think so, yeah.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. Extremely charismatic.
9.5?
I'd go high. Yeah, 9.5's fine. I don't know, maybe 9. I don't know. He's very high.
I think 9.5's good.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most charismatic guys in New Japan history.
So that puts him at 32.5. Same exact score as Chris Jericho.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah. Up next, Tiger Mask.
1, 2, 3, 4 W.
Current Tiger Mask. Tiger
4.
Mask 4.
I forgot about him. His look, I don't know. 5.5.
Yeah. Mike, I mean, he's just grumpy.
I kind of think he's funny on the mic. I don't know, 5.5.
Yeah, that's fun. Work.
5.5.
I think we can go 6 on the
You
work.
can go 6. His work sometimes is pretty good.
It factor.
5.5. I don't know why I'm stuck on 5.5 with him, but that's what I feel like.
So that puts him at 22.5.
You know, there's a time like in the 2006, he was like one of the best like juniors in the whole world.
Yeah, would look a lot different back then.
Maybe I'll recommend a really good Tiger Mask match. Oh, you know what? Not this week, but I'm gonna recommend you maybe like him and Milano Collection AT, and you can watch that shit and be like, holy shit.
Next up, Toa Hanare.
I think his look has gotten a lot better.
He's gotten in great shape.
He's in great shape.
Yeah, he's trimmed down
I'd
lot.
go 7.5.
Yeah. His mic work.
It's not good. It's not bad, but it's not good.
6.
6 is probably right.
Work.
His work's gotten better. What do you think?
I think 7.
Uh-uh.
Lower?
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah.
It factor. Don't think it's high.
6.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so that puts Toa Hanare at 26. I don't think that's bad for kind of where he's slotted.
Where is Dave Finlay?
So Dave Finlay is at 25.
So he's a little bit higher than Dave Finlay.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I think that's about right.
It's about right, yeah.
Next up, Togi Makabe.
Not today.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking maybe 6 on the look.
Look is fine. It's his gimmick. He fits the gimmick of what he is. And he was a big star of the past, but it's not great today. So, yeah, 6 is fine.
Mike.
He's pretty funny on the mic.
Yeah, I think he's good on the mic.
I don't know.
7.
6, 7, I don't know, 6.5.
Yeah, let's do that. Work. This man be taking no bumps.
He's taking no bumps. He's not hardly working. I don't know, 5.
Okay.
It's decent.
It factor.
He was a big star at one point. It's not quite there anymore, but I mean
6.5.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so that brings Togi Makabe to 24.
I still think about that match him and Suzuki had that 1 year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it still delivered just a year or two ago. Also, him and Yoshihashi had like a fucking banger in the G1, like first night of the G1. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Up next, Tomioka Hanma. Look.
Well, his look is better than it should be, considering like the injuries he had. But he's still pretty muscular, but then he's still ugly, and he's still got he was a deathmatch wrestler for so many years, so his head is
all
just
cut up and scarred up. Yeah,
he looks like Abdullah and Dusty. I don't know, 5.5.
That works for me. Mic work.
Oh, his mic is bad. Yeah, I don't think he's ever been good on the mic. I go 4.
That's fine with me. Work.
His work is really bad. I go 3.
Yeah, he's rough. It factor.
God, I need
5.
At one point, Hamamania was the hottest thing.
It was
in the
running.
whole
It was.
fucking
It was
company.
running wild,
It
brother.
It was the hottest thing in the whole fucking
It
company.
was running wild, brother. But it ain't running wild right now. It's cooled off.
It's like comparing Hulk Hogan in 1985 to Hulk Hogan in 2020. It's not the same thing.
Right. Ain't the same, Chief.
God, I don't know. 5.
Yeah. So.
It's just like, it's sad because the it factor was there for it was a big, yeah.
So 17.5.
Is he the lowest?
No, the lowest is Jotto at 17.
We're pretty astute at this.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think
Pretty good.
So next up, the Stone Pit Bull, Tomohiro Ishii. So obviously we call Ishii the best bad body wrestler there is. Not a great body, kind of short.
He's imposing even without being imposing. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing Michael Elgin in real life for the first time, and he was small, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I think I could beat up Michael Elgin. But I definitely couldn't. He'd fuck me up. But I don't know. What do you think about Ishii? I mean, he does have a bad body. Like, he does. 6.5?
Yeah.
Because, like, I want to give him credit for, like, making up, like, lost ground, like, with all his, like, physical impairments, with still being so imposing. Like, it's kind of crazy. He's still so believable.
Yeah. Mike.
Bad.
Yeah.
I go 5 just because he's competent enough to, like, get his point across, and he doesn't spend a lot of time, and it's kind of entertaining, but it's not good.
I don't think he wants to be good.
No, he's not trying to be good.
Yeah. The press conference, like, he was like, few word answers. Like, he's trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Work.
10.
10.
He's one of the best workers of this generation.
It factor.
God, that's hard. 7.5.
I'm good with that.
I'm just throwing a number out there just into
So that puts him at 29.
Okay. And that's the conundrum when you talk about Tomohiro Ishii, and when people talk about Hall of Fame and they talk about his legacy. You're talking about a guy who is very low on so many levels, but so high in the ring.
That work.
The work is so high.
I wonder what Rich is going to think about that score.
God. He'd probably agree with this because Rich is a fair, and I'm going to appeal to Rich's, he's a fair and astute rater, just like we all are. I don't think that I'd be surprised if there's a lot of people out here calling us idiots or anything. I'm sure there's like variances, but I don't think we're far off.
I think the main thing you could probably hammer us on is the mic, just because we don't.
No, his mic work's not good.
No, I'm just saying like across the board for all these rankings.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think overall we're doing pretty good, and I
think we are sometimes a little bit too much in the bubble, and people will think that us thinking that people's it factors are a little higher than they might actually end up being, because we're kind of in a vacuum, and there's people on the outside who might see it differently.
Yeah,
but they don't know the ring work the way we do.
True,
and they don't know. I think that's the big difference. But
yeah. All right, so we got the final few here. I think we've got about eight left. So next up, Tomohiro Ishii's former partner, Toru Yano. Look is
bad.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't hamper him on it because it's part of his gimmick. I don't know, 5.
Yeah, 5's good.
5's fine. I don't know. I could go 4.5.
I think 5's fine.
All right.
Mike.
I think Toru Yano's hilarious.
Yeah.
I go 6.
Yeah, that's good. Work 6.
I think 6 is fine. I think he's a very good worker who's found what works for him in his gimmick, and I think if he needed to wrestle, he could. We've seen it. He can wrestle.
It factor 6.
6 is fine.
Yeah. So 23 for for Toru Yano. Next up, the aerial assassin Will Ospreay.
All right,
let's get it. So look. Obviously going to heavyweight, he's gotten jacked.
He's got incredible ring gear.
He's got good height.
Yeah, I'll go 8.
Yeah. Mike, I think Ospreay's good on the mic.
I think he's good. I think he's a little too wordy. Sometimes I don't understand what he's talking about exactly, but I think he's solid. He's good on the mic. He gets emotion from people.
Yeah, I think his closing match promos are where he hits it home.
I don't think I can rate him as high as someone like a Mox or something like that, so I'd go 7.5.
Okay. I'll do that. I was thinking 8, but I can go 7.
I was going to say 8, but I just don't think he lands as often as guys like Suzuki and Mox and things like that.
Work, 10.
He's 10.
It factor.
It's high. It's not the highest, but it's high.
8?
I'd go 8.5.
Okay, I'm good with that. So that brings him to 34. So let's see. That puts him...
it's pretty high.
Yeah, he's 0.5 behind Shingo. That's higher than Ryu Lee. 0.5 behind Suzuki.
So he's just beneath Suzuki and Chris Jericho?
Yeah, he's above Jay White by 1 point. Above Moxley by a half a point.
Man, I think we are like killing this right
Yeah,
now.
we're doing great.
We've never been so impressed with ourselves ever.
Up next, Yo.
Okay, for look,
He's shredded.
I'd go 7.
Yeah. Mike. He's better than Show.
He's better than Show. What do we give Show?
We gave Show 5.
I'd go 6 on him.
Okay.
I don't think his mic work is like blow away or anything.
But it's better.
It's better.
Work.
His work's really good.
I'd go 8.
Really, that high? Okay, that's fine. I'll ride with you.
It factor.
7.
Okay.
He's a 7. I think he's like in the Desperado area.
Yeah. So that puts him at 28. 0.5 behind Show.
Fucking A.
All right. Next up, Yoshihashi. Look.
Oh, his look is so bad. He has the ugly, like, I don't want his face, bro.
His body's not all that great.
I don't know.
6.
Let's go 6. We're being nice.
Mike.
Oh, his mic's not good either.
5. Work. 7.
7 is fine.
It factor. 3.
I think we should go. Let's go 4.5.
Okay. Fine.
His it factors. He's 4.5. That's like we're being mean.
Okay. So 22.5.
That's pretty good.
Same as Tiger Mask.
That's about right.
Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
I mean, he's. If we talk about Doki being like one of those dudes that like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat up, like Kanemaru's right there. He's like a mid-level boss. Like he's not someone you fight at the end of the stage,
Right.
But when you're in the middle of the stage and the one dude walks through the door,
Yeah.
and he's a little harder than the other guys who've been beaten up, but he's not that hard. Like you're not gonna have to use any of your special powers. You can save them up for the big guy. That's Kanemaru.
You got to dodge a little bit more though.
He's gonna do some damage.
Right. The whiskey.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's Tory special.
5.
As far as look,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Mike.
I think he's good on the mic.
Yeah. I go like 7.
That's fine. I don't know. Yeah,
Work.
he's good. He's a really, really, really good worker. And if you haven't seen his Noah work, I mean, we're not talking about his Noah work, but you should see his Noah work. But I think he's a very good worker. I don't know, 6.5, 7.
Yeah. 6.5. Right now, I think.
Right now, yeah.
It factor.
It's not high. I don't know,
5.
5.5, 6. I don't know.
Let's go 5.5. Okay. Yuji Nagata from WCW.
Where do we land with him?
Oh, I'm sorry. His final total is 24.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yuji Nagata from WCW.
Yeah. 6
8.
on a look,
He's a badass.
bro. So what did we give Kojima? We gave Kojima 6. I think Nagata 6.
Nagata steal your girl.
6.
What did we give Kojima?
6 is what we gave Kojima.
He's lower than Kojima.
Okay.
On the look?
Yeah.
No, 5.5.
Okay.
He looks old, bro. He's an
yeah.
old man.
Mike.
I don't think.
I think he's
fine.
yeah 6.
Yeah, 6 is fine. He's good. He's not great.
Work 7.5.
His work. What do we give Kojima?
We gave Kojima 7,
He's better than Kojima.
so 7.5.
7.5 is better. Is that what you suggested?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It factor.
Oh God, I don't know.
You gave Kojima 6.5.
I give him 6.5 too.
Okay. So that puts him at 25.5.
Where was Kojima?
Kojima was at 27.
So he's lower than Kojima?
Yeah.
That's fucked up. He's better than Kojima.
Nah, he's not.
Yes, he is. Fuck Kojima.
All right, last two. The Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi.
God. Okay. As far as look, I wouldn't go. I don't know, 5.
Yeah, that's fine. Mike.
He's okay on the mic. I don't know.
6.
6.
Work.
5.
Yeah. It Factor. 5. Puts him at 21.
Oh, I did that math in my head. I'm not looking at the spreadsheet like you are. I'm not even good at math, so that's pretty good.
All right. The final person that we're going to be ranking.
Why didn't we do Peter Miho Abe? What the fuck? Where were they?
They're
Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, maybe next week we'll
Chris
come
Charlton.
back with those guys. All right. Last here on the ranking.
I wanted to do Liger.
I mean, retired. I mean, he did wrestle this year, technically. But nah.
Yeah.
Last one here is Zack Sabre Jr.
Ooh.
ZSJ.
So
Zack
the
Sabre
look is
time.
interesting because people think he looks like a skinny geek, but it's also like part of his like deal. Also, I think Zack's kind of a handsome man. Like
He is, but yeah,
handsome guy.
He's mad skinny though.
He's mad skinny.
Especially for being a heavyweight. He's got to get penalized on the look.
Well, how low do you want to go? 6, 6.5?
6.5.
6.5. Okay.
Mike, awesome.
8.5.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's fucking great.
Yeah. Work, 9.
9.
Yep.
He's so fucking good.
And It Factor.
I think he's a star.
Yeah.
I'd go
8. Yep. Boom. All right, that puts him at 32. I think that's about right. That's pretty good.
Are you able to aggregate this and go from top to bottom or no? Like as far as
Let's see here. If I can rank it here.
if not, it's not a big deal. But I'm not surprised. It sounds like Okada's our number one by far.
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to.
I'm just used to like when I'm at work, we have like spreadsheets we work with all the time, and I can like click a button and I can change the ranks. You know,
I'm just trying because I'm using Google spreadsheets and it's a little bit different than Excel.
I know. I think I expected too much from you. That's my fault. I'm throwing stuff out there that like we don't have the technical capabilities to come up with like on the fly.
I'll figure it out. Wait, hold on. I think I got it here.
Oh, Jeremy.
Hold on. Wait, hold on 1 second here. Here we go. Got it.
I'm not the first person to say, "Oh, Jeremy." I won't be the last.
All right,
Jeremy.
So you want me to let's say top 10?
No, just give us the rundown.
All right, so here we go. Kazuchika Okada, 37.5. Hiromu Takahashi, 36.5. Kota Ibushi, 36. Hiroshi Tanahashi, 34.5. Minoru Suzuki, 34.5. Shingo Takagi, 34.5. Will Ospreay, 34. Jon Moxley, 33.5. Jay White, 33. Chris Jericho, 32.5. Ryu Lee, 32.5. Tetsuya Naito, 32.5. Zack Sabre Jr., 32. El Phantasmo, 30.5. Kenta, 30. Taichi, 30. Sanada, 29.5. Taiji Ishimori, 29.5. Tomohiro Ishii, 29. Sho, 28.5. El Desperado, 28. Evil, 28. Hiroki Goto, 28. Taguchi, 28. Yo, 28. Juice Robinson, 27.5. Robbie Eagles, 27.5. Kojima, 27. Tama Tonga, 27. Toa Hanare, 26. Yuji Nagata, 25.5. Chase Owens, 25. David Finlay, 25. Bushi, 24. Makabe, 24. Kanemaru, 24. Cobb Yano at 23. Tiger Mask and Yoshihashi, 22.5. Bad Luck Fale and Gato, Mikey Nichols, and Yujiro Takahashi, 21. Tenzon, 20.5. Tangaloa, 20. Doki, 18. Hanuma, 17.5. And the bottom of the list, Jado at 17.
So at the top of the list, Kazuchika Okada with what score?
37.5.
Holy shit.
Out of 40.
God. There's a reason he's the ace, ladies and gentlemen. This has been great.
Yeah, dude. This was a great exercise.
Bro, we did a good job.
I really enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it too. This is great.
So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. That is the Bret Hart Wrestler ranking system of the NJPW roster.
We thought this was going to be a short episode.
So, please let us know what your rankings are. Hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, on the Reddit thread. Let us know what your rankings are. I will tweet out the spreadsheet with the rankings that we gave tonight so you guys can see it. I might even do like a little column on it on Social Suplex that's based on how people are ranked. So check that out. And before we go, we got to do the recommended match of the week.
Oh,
now,
before I throw out my recommended match of the week, let's talk about the last 2 weeks because I wanted you and Chris Sampson to discuss Marufuji versus Prince Devitt. Obviously, you didn't have him watch the match. So,
well, honestly, I didn't watch the match either.
Oh my God, slacking.
But I have watched the match since then.
And then I listened to last week's episode, and I watched your recommended match. So, since mine was earlier, I'll defer to you, and then you can throw it to me, and then I'll throw out the recommended match of the week, and we'll go.
All right. So,
do we need a match of the month? Was there any matches this month?
So no.
Is February or is March almost over?
So it's March. Tomorrow's the 17th.
Was there no matches in March?
No.
We're gonna have the first month. Fuck you, coronavirus.
Unless they can pull out Secure Genesis.
Oh God. All right.
So Marufuji versus Devitt. I thought it was an awesome match, dude. Marufuji's brainbuster on the apron to Devitt was crazy.
Which one did you watch? The Super Junior Finals?
Yeah, Super J Cup 2009.
I couldn't remember if I recommended that or the January 4th one.
Yeah.
Or whatever January one it was.
Marufuji also does this cool like rebound lariat thing to the outside. Devitt had a crazy dive. Marufuji did this cool like springboard inside out drop kick thing. He did like a coast to coast. Nose got busted in the match. One thing, like, I haven't seen a ton of Devitt New Japan stuff, but I've seen some. But he was super over. Like the crowd was really behind him and really wanted him to win this match, and they was really pulling out for him. Devitt did this awesome, this huge super backdrop. I thought it was an awesome junior match.
Yeah, I wasn't totally watching everything back then because, again, it was in 2009, 2010. But this match was, in my opinion, of their series, the best match they had. But it was a match that was very clearly, and maybe, I don't know if you agree with me, I think Marufuji's the star of this match.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
Like, he's way more highlighted than Prince Devitt is in the match. The match that they had at the mid-year when Devitt finally, because the story was that Marufuji was an outsider from Noah. He ended up gaining, winning the junior title. And then when they wrestled in like June or July, maybe it was August, I don't remember. You can find it on Cage Match. I'm pretty sure it's on New Japan World. But they had two other matches, one in January, one at the mid-year. And those matches are much more even. So this kind of set the tone for what the feud would be. Basically that Devitt wasn't quite on the level of Marufuji at this point. And so I think this is the best match. But those other two matches showcase Devitt a lot more. So if you guys want to go back and watch those matches and kind of see the progression, I think the mid-year match, which is the big one where Devitt finally gains the IWGP Junior title from Prince Devitt, that one is definitely on New Japan World. I think you can find the one from January on like Daily Motion probably, or actually I think it's on YouTube. Those are more 50-50 affairs and kind of highlight more of what Prince Devitt was able to do. But as far as like a match rating, I think this match is a little bit higher. But the series is incredible. And it's something like if you're not familiar with Prince Devitt New Japan, this is recommended viewing. What would you have given this match as far as?
I think like 4.5.
Yeah, I think Dave Meltzer went like 4.5, 4.25 at the time on it. And it was one of the higher rated New Japan. Keep in mind, we're still in the dark days. So this is one of the highest rated matches of New Japan towards the end of that decade for sure. But I recommend it because I knew you'd want to see it. And
yeah.
Now you can see why people love Marufuji.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Marufuji fucking rules. So my recommended match that Jeremy gave me was Shibata versus Okada. And you said you hadn't watched the match before you recommended it to me?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause at the time, I was still kind of jumping in and out to New Japan, just kind of catching the big stuff. And also, I heard what happened to Shibata, so I saw the headbutt thing. But, I had never took the time to watch the whole match. We started doing Keeping It Strong Style in November of that year, so way after that match. So finally saw it, and so it was awesome.
The match is just so incredible. Now, here's the thing. I've only watched it prior to this one other time. I watched it in early April literally like a few days before I went to WrestleMania in New Orleans. What WrestleMania was that, 32?
You mean in Orlando?
Orlando. Yeah. I'm sorry, Orlando.
33, yeah.
33, okay. So I'd only watched it that one time, and I watched it with Rich at his place, and I thought it was so incredible. But once I found out what happened to Shibata and how it was the end of his career and everything like that, I couldn't really bring myself to watch it again. Now, if you've never seen it, you guys should definitely go out and watch the Showbuckle, the ballad. I don't know if it's called this specifically, but Showbuckle, who used to make really incredible videos about New Japan Pro Wrestling, he made one about the rise and fall, or like the ballad of Katsuyori Shibata. And it's about his trajectory from the time that he left New Japan in like 2005 to the time that he came back in 2012, leading up to the 2017 match at Sakura Genesis with him and Kazuchika Okada. I watched that video again in preparation of watching this match. So I watched that first. It's like a 7-minute video, just incredible. And it gives you so much context to the match itself. And then I watched the match just yesterday, and I forgot how. I mean, I know that it's one of the greatest matches of all time. I know that. But rewatching it, there were so many little things that I caught that I loved. Like, for instance, the beginning segments of the match. There's a reason that they called Shibata the wrestler. And when did you watch this, Jeremy?
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay, so you watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
So what I loved about it was like how the first, like, a lot of times in New Japan, there's a criticism about how like these epic matches, they do a lot of early ring work to kind of like kill time and build things, and it doesn't have a lot of meaning, and it's like they're just wrestling to wrestle and doesn't play into it. But this was different. They were telling a story of the fact that Shibata was a vastly superior wrestler to Kazuchika Okada. Okada could not keep up with this man when it came to mat work. Like the entire like first third of the match probably is all Shibata out wrestling Okada. And he's just so much better than Okada. And then Okada institutes the strikes. He's the one who starts throwing elbows in the corner. And from that point, like, Shibata's like, oh, you want to fuck with this? Like, you have no idea. I like to call it, actually, I get this from Rich, so I want to give him credit, but he calls this, when we talk about, like, the Mind Games match between
Shawn and Mankind.
Shawn and Mankind, that's Shawn's real man match. This was Okada's real man match. This is the match that, like, showed him, like, can you actually keep up with, like, strong style? And, oh, my God, the elbows, the knees, the fucking mid kicks, and just the onslaught of physicality that Shibata puts on him is so visceral. Obviously, the headbutt spot, which is just disgusting. Like, especially knowing what that would turn into, what that would mean for Shibata for the rest of his career. Like, that was horrible. But I mean, like, it's so, like, the visual of, like, Shibata headbutting him and then the blood coming down. It's just like, oh my God.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think I watched that after I watched the Okada documentary.
Yeah.
So seeing that, like, that's how Okada felt about that moment and their whole relationship. And then watching that, I was like,
well, watching the Showbuckle video and seeing, like, the trajectory of, like, Shibata's career and, like, what he had to do to, like, regain his placement as being a respected worker and getting his contract. And, the fact that, like, he had that the year before, he had that feud with the New Japan Dads, which they represented the Dark Age, which was the age when he left the company. So when he was wrestling Kojima and Tenzan and
Nagata.
They were the physical embodiment of what he had turned his back on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he was wrestling with the ghosts of his own past, which was like, you don't get this shit in WWE. It's so fucking good. And then he finally like brought himself to the point where like he gained Tanahashi's respect. He gained the New Japan dad's respect. He gained the fans' respect. And he finally like overcame all the odds by winning the New Japan Cup. And like he finally got a shot at this youngster who had gained the spot that he never would get. The story is so incredible. And he's fighting his way, the old school way. And like when that final Rainmaker is thrown and Shibata is getting ready to throw an elbow.
Yeah.
And he eats the Rainmaker and it's like, oh my, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If this match didn't happen in the same year as Okada Omega 1, this would have been the match of the year.
Hands down.
Hands down. And for many people it was. 5 stars. Absolutely, easily 5 stars. I'm surprised Dave didn't he wasn't really breaking the scale back then, but like I think if Dave watched it today, he'd go like 6 stars on this shit.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Incredible.
So what's the recommended match for this week?
All right, so my recommended match of the week. So I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought to myself, you know what, Jeremy? You haven't seen a lot of Shibata's matches, and I know that you enjoyed that match, so I thought to myself, I should probably recommend to you something that you've never seen, something that I know you're going to enjoy, and something that's very important to the history of New Japan. So I'm recommending New Japan Destruction in Kobe, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Katsuyori Shibata. This match, keep in mind, 5 stars. Wrestling Observer Newsletter. This was the culmination of the feud between Tanahashi and Shibata. The fact that Shibata walked out on the company when Tanahashi was left to play the ace and raise the company back to the top standards. And it's 2 years after Shibata had rejoined the company. One of the best told stories like you'll ever see of Shibata or Tanahashi's career. Fucking incredible stuff.
Definitely. I can't wait to check it out. I'm sure I'll have plenty of time to get on that. So I'll add that
3
up.
hours and 41 minutes we gave you guys.
So yeah, some great stuff here. I really enjoyed the Bret Hart wrestling system on New Japan. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that.
I really think we're not going to have another show between now and like June. So we need suggestions from you guys. Keep your questions coming. We love them. But, you know, we've talked a bit about it. I don't know how many like retro shows we really want to do because I don't know if that's something that like our fan base or our listeners are really going to like be inclined to listen to. But you guys tell us. We want to provide you with the best content. We're going to keep doing the news. We're going to keep giving you guys the best content we can. But if you guys got ideas for what you want to hear from us, what you want us to do, we're open to it. You know?
Yeah, please hit us up and give us your suggestions and ideas.
Please actually hit us up. You know, Rambo and Slam Pig, you're out there. You know, Kevin Crawford, you're out there. Like, I know you guys are out there. Semper Vivi, I know you're fucking listening. Like, tell us what you guys want us to hear.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll have Semp on the show at some point during this period.
Yo, he was fucking hilarious on Observer this week.
Yeah. It's been a while since we had him on. So next week, I don't know what we'll be back with. We'll be back with something. That's 100% sure. We're not stopping. We will be pushing out content throughout this break, and we want to entertain you guys. So next week, we'll be back with something. If you enjoyed today's show, please consider making a donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and clicking on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure to connect with us on social media. The show is at KI Strong Style on Twitter. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jeremy L. Donovan and Social Suplex at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Social Suplex. Also find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Instagram, we are at Social Suplex. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy, and Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can also find us in our new Discord server. Check that out. Just search for Social Suplex. You can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. Every other Wednesday, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. On Fridays, we have Get in the Ring with Danny and Beast Mike. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr., Amy O, and Tiffany. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. And we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
It's your bud.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.